Hey everyone, thanks for checking out this tutorial on this little octopus pendant. This is the actual one we'll be making in the video. Turned out really cute. And then this one I'll be tagging along as a reference and an example. This one turned out cute, a little pretty in pink. I did mention I was going to do the tentacles, these little sew-ons in the video, but in the end I think it looked better without it. So this is going to be the complete tutorial for this one. And in the description, which is coming up here shortly, all the materials are laying there, but I forgot to mention the 7mm bead that's used for the top here. So just note that you're going to need a 7mm bead as well as the stuff in the following description. And if you have any questions, just ask me in the comments. I'll try to get to them. Alright, so let's make it. Okay, so to make this cute little octopus, for the body, we're going to need 6 pieces of the 20 gauge wire, cut at 11 inches, color of your choice. You're going to need a little crystal for her face. This one is 8mm, I believe, pointed back. I'm going to go with this beautiful blue color. And for her eyes, you're going to need 2 beads, and I believe these are the 3mm beads. You're going to need a little treasure for her to hang on to. This is a cool, I can't think of the name of it, but I'll put it in the description. I think it's really cool how it changes colors at certain angles. And it's really sparkly. So I'm going to go with that for a little treasure keeper. And this stone it's about 3/4 of an inch long, about 1/2 inch wide. So you could do any size stone you want in there, as long as it's small enough to fit in this circle. So yeah, I'd keep it small. So you need one of those. For the coil back here, you're going to need 3 20 gauge wires cut at 18 inches. And for your frame that goes in front of the coil, you're going to need 4 more cut at the 20 gauge at 12 inches. 4 cut at 12 inches. And for their octopus, for the color of the octopus, you're going to need 28 gauge weaving wire, color of your choice. You're going to need quite a bit on a bobbin for a little body. You're going to need more than that. I put it on these, it just makes it just really easy to weave on. And for your frame color around here and your color coils, you're going to need another bobbin with color of your choice. I'm going to go with like a vintage bronze, I believe this color is. And let's see, if you want to do the little spots on the octopus, you're going to need a little bag of these tiny little beads. I believe these are the 2mm beads. And this is optional if you don't want to put these on there, but if you do, you're going to have at least 15 to 20 of those on hand. You're going to need nylon pliers, flat nose, round nose, and cutters to get started. And to speed things up, if you want to do your coil with a cute little drill, these are handy, so we might go ahead and use that as well. And I wanted to mention, I got this cool little vitamin scooper, but if you don't have one of these, shish kebab stick or something comparable to wrap your coil around would be great. So let's get started. Alright, so we're going to start with 1 piece of the 18-inch long wire for the coil, and we're going to just wrap each piece all the way, probably from 1 inch starting in and then stopping at 1 inch in. So I'm going to use my little drill for this. So I'm going to wrap the end of this about 3 times just to get started. Well, whatever it is, looks like 7 or 8. I'm going to slide this down to the end and grab my little drill here. And just kind of lock it in. So I get a good grip on it. And on this one I'm not using the bobbin because that's more for weaving. I'm just going to spin this coil loosely on this one. I'm just going to put this in my lap and then spin it around with this. So I'll just get on there securely and keep my wire as straight as possible. So when it starts flipping out everywhere, it's kind of controlled. Oops. Alright, and then I just spin it on there like that. I slide it down every once in a while, make sure it's nice and snug. that. I'm going to do this whole wire till we're about an inch from either end. I could film the whole thing, but to save time, I think I'm just going to come back when I got it finished. I'm almost done with this coil, and I just wanted to show you, if you keep your finger on it, when you go to spin it, keeps it from overlapping. You can feel it spinning under your finger. Keep the coil nice and tight, and we're going to go about, we want about an inch from each end. So when you go to slide it back down, if you feel like it's, you know, just give it a little, it's kind of spongy, but just push it down till you got, see, I'm pretty close on the other inch tied off, and then this is approximately about 2 inches. So I think if I stop here, I got about an inch from both ends. So I'm going to go ahead and detach this one. Yeah, and that's, if you put it in the middle, it's going to be close to an inch. And then the, you know, as you coil it, it pushes itself out because it just tends to do that. So we're going to do both 18-inch wires, just 2 of them, covered with the coil, the 18 gauge, and I'll meet you back when both are done. And again, just about an inch from both sides, or even a little more, like an inch and a half, because it will want to push off once you start wrapping it around your coil. And then we just trim these off tight. I'll just trim these off. This is a nice clean end. Oh boy, what happened here? Well, I'll clean this up, and then I'm going to attach my second wire and wrap that in 28 gauge, and I'll meet you both when I have them both done. I'll meet you back here. Alright, so I wrapped both of the 18-inch long wires till they're about an inch and a half on both ends, and they will slide around, and I just trimmed them tight. So what we're going to do next is we're going to grab your little shish kebab stick. I'm going to grab this little vitamin scooper and scooch them down to they're about the same length. Probably, I'm thinking it's about an inch and a quarter from the end. And you're going to start wrapping them around your shish kebab stick. Hold them together, and just, you can start it going like that. And try to keep your coils tight as you rotate around your little shish kebab stick here. I'll try to stay in the camera. Whoa, see, it wants to slide down already. So just as you go around, keep it as snug as you can to the coil. A little harder on camera. Or just, oh, that makes it easier to go this way. Leave a little fold out here for the leverage. And just go around. Make sure your coils are nice and snug. You know, make sure they're down there low. Just keep going around with it. Pushing, double checking your coils are nice and snug. Smash it down. Trying to stay in camera here. Spin it around, press it down. And sometimes if you like spin it out and then spin it back, you can get it to be more symmetrical. I'm going to keep going until I reach the end of this. And remember, if you pull down on this, it stretches your coil out and it's going to push it off the end down here, which is probably going to happen anyways. But just remember, try to keep it as, you know, snug as you can, like a nice tight, so you get a good coverage, so they're not spaced out. And just keep rolling it around there. Kind of hard on the fingers. And getting there. We want this coil, when we're done, it's going to be 4 3/4 inch long is what we're going for. But we're going to put a filler in the middle of these two. So we're getting there. And again, like if you kind of go backwards and then push it down, kind of evens them up a bit. Make sure the coils are pushed down. Just keep going. I'll meet you back when I get to about up here. And just wrap your all what you got. And if it comes off the end, don't even worry. We'll just cut that part off. And I'll meet you back here in a second. Alright, I've reached almost the end. You can see how it does tend to push a little bit of the coil off, but that is okay. You just keep going, spinning it along till you reach to about where your little ends of your wires are. You can just pull it out a little bit and then just clip those off, because these are going to be clipped off anyways. I don't even think we're going to need this whole coil, depending on where we're at once we measure the, because we want to keep the frame really small. Okay, so we're at this point, and then you can keep moving it around with your fingers, or you could, like if you have little bumps in it, you can take your nylon pliers and just chase around your coil, make it all nice and just primo, which I tend to do off camera a lot because I just can't help it. Okay, and then this extra piece of 18-inch, I think this one is antique colored copper, and then this one is a vintage, so the color is slightly different. One's kind of a greenish and one's red. So you can start at either end, and we're gonna start two lines down. So right below where your little other wire starts, you could leave like a little leverage, about an inch or so, and we're just gonna slip these in. I have to wrap around here to get a little leverage going, and just pull that coil down in there. You see that? I'm just going to chase that line around. See there? I'm just going to move it around. So it'll just slide between the two coils, give it a little extra detail to it. Are we still in there? Yeah. And just pull it down, rotate it till you get to the bottom. Just trying to go with kind of like sea colors, I don't know, like green and copper, like an anchor. Kind of oceany, I guess. So I'm just pulling that down in there, and I'll meet you back when I get down to the end here. Okay, so we got the coil on there. Looks pretty cool with the different colors. And then we only want this coil to be exactly 4 inches, 4 3/4. So I'm just going to slide it off of this thing. Let's see where we're at. We wanted it 4 3/4. Well, that's pretty darn. That's like 4 1/2. 4 3/4. You know what? We're just gonna go with 4 1/2. And I could get a little more on there, but not much. Guess I'll just move these around and try to gain a little more ground. I'm not really worried about it because I actually don't mind a little bit smaller frame. So just gonna call that good. Let's see where we're at. So it is pretty close. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off this little extra here. I'm just going to clip it short so it kind of cleans it up, like that. Just cutting the ends off, because you're not going to see these. They're going to be butted up against that 7mm bead that we got. So just on the last 3 here, just cut them off flush. It's basically just got a flat end there, and a flat end there, and let's see where we're at. And that's 4 1/2 inches, and I'm okay with that, because once we get the bead on there, it's cool. Okay, so actually we are going to need to cut a piece of wire that's at least 1.5 inches longer than this coil. Just guessing here. Let's see what this is. I actually didn't put this in the material list, but this one is 7 inches. So I think that'll work fine. And then grab that 7mm bead. Alright, so I got the 7mm bead. I'm going to just put that right there, and we're going to slip this 7-inch wire right down into the center of the coil, like that. And then we're going to make this coil round. You know, and if your ends are a little jagged, you could always, you know, round them up with your, but we don't want to, we want them open and flat. We don't want to try to make them smaller on the ends. We want them open. So we're just going to make like a little circle. Yeah. I'm going to keep the wire in there. Yeah. We're just trying to get a good circle going. I'm going to put this little bead on there. And then the tricky part is kind of even them up so you have as much wire through here. And you're going to slip this side of the wire through there. And this is tricky, but it's a little practice. It gets a little, so you can bend this one out just to hold its space. And then pull this one through. Grab so you can see past my fingers. Here I'm going to grab my flat nose. I'm just going to pull this bead through. We're just going to bring the wires close as we can together. So I'm bending that one up. I'm going to do this one again. I'm just going to keep pulling these wires closer and closer till that bead is touching. And just pull your wire up to hold your space. And then go back to this side. Keep them as round as possible. Just not much of a circle yet, but I'm just trying to work these two ends as close as possible. Just give it a pull. I did even like it closer than that. I can get more on this side. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. So when you get as close as you can, and then just keep, you know, if you pull the wire up, it holds this spot. You want to make a round. Alright, looks pretty good. Like I said, this part will be covered up. I mean, you can see how covered that one is. So you don't see. So 4.5 works good, and it almost looks like it's the same size. Yeah. So 4.5 inches on that coil. And then once you get this bead as close as you can to either side, go over the top on this side, and then over the top on this side. And we're just going to wrap it through there to hold it together, keep it from slipping off. And this one too. Just going to wrap around the other side. Just trying to tuck it up under there. Oops. I think this is going to be the back. These little pokies will be covered up. So this is the front. And just take your flat nose plier and push these wires to the back so you don't see them. Tuck them up in there like that. Alright, so you just got this cool little ring like this. And again, this will be covered up. I just push those wires to the back because this will be your front. Alright, so there's that part. Let's see, how big is this? About 1 3/4 inches. Okay, so now we're going to make the frame. Okay, so for the frame, you're going to grab your 4 pieces of the 12-inch wires, and we're going to start 4 inches in from the end here, and you're going to grab the color that you want, your 28 gauge on a bobbin. So you're going to flare these out a little bit so you can grab them easier. Shape them out like that. Going to grab your color here. You're going to start on the bottom. I'm going to grab this bottom one 3 times just to lock onto it. And I wanted to do a nautical like pattern on here. Let's see, 2, 3. So I got this cool pattern to do, but you could do any pattern you want, and then I'm not positive on the distance, but we'll know that in a little bit. But this pattern I know will put exactly the amount of weave we want on there. So starting at the bottom, we're going to just go over the second one here. We're just going to grab each wire up and down and come under the second one, go over the third one, under the third one, then over the fourth, and around to the back here. Oops. Once you come around the back, you're going to go through the middle or under the third one and then over the third one. We're just going to grab each one on the way down. So under the second and then over the second, under the first and over the first. And we're going to repeat that again. So we're going to go over the second and under the second, over the third, under the third. So we're just going to go all the way up the wires and down the wires 3 times. So we're in the back now. We're going to go around under the third one and over the third. We're going to go under the second and over the second. And back to the bottom again. So we just wanted to lock all 4 wires together. So now we're going to start our pattern. And what we're going to do is, so once you're at the bottom, you're just going to go over the bottom 2. You're going to go over it once and twice. And then you're going to wrap the bottom one. I should take that back. Let's see. So once you're behind, you're going to come up between the bottom 2 and then around the back and then grab that bottom one. So I'll do another one here. It's going to be it's going to be repeating 5 times. So now that you're in the back, you're going to go through I misspoke. So you're starting down here, so you're going to wrap the bottom 2 twice again. So wrap once and twice, just wrapping the bottom 2. And then you're going to come up through between those 2 and go over the second one, around the bottom, wrap the bottom one. And now we've done 2 sets. So we're going to grab both of them twice again. So that's 1 and 2, and then between the 2 of those, I'm going to grab the second one up, and then grab the bottom one. And that's 3 sets. Wish I could get a better picture of that. Maybe I'll grab a screenshot of that and post it on there. So then we're going to grab it again. I'm going to grab both of them twice, around both twice. There's 1 and 2, and then through the first and second, grab the second one, around the back, grab the first one, and that's 4 sets. And so let's do 5 sets of that, another one. So we're going to go around once, gonna go through the middle, grab the second one, around the back, grab the bottom one. Alright, and then we need our our nylon pliers. We're gonna smash that out and slide it down so it's a nice tight weave. It's a cool pattern once it gets started. Okay, so on the next one we're going to do the exact same pattern, but we're going to do it on 3 bars. So we're going to go around 3 of them. Remember to keep enough another space where you can just see the light through it. You don't want them touching each other. So we're going to go around 3 of them once, 3 of them twice, and then once you're in the back, you're going to come up underneath the third one, grab the third one, and round the back. Go under the second one, grab the second one, grab this bottom one. So that's one. I'm going to do that one more time for the 3 bars. So we're going to go around all 3 once, and then twice. And then once you're in the back, you're going to go up underneath that third wire, around the back, come up under the second wire, around the back, and then around that bottom one. We'll get our nylon pliers. Smash it down. Kind of a cool shot there. So I'm trying to make, like the captain's wheel, how it's going to be round and then it's going to have like the handles that you hang on to spin it with. So we're going to do 5 more of the first set. We're going to grab these bottom 2 twice. And then come up underneath the second one. Around the bottom, come up around the bottom one. So that's one set. We're going to do 5 of those. So we're going to round the bottom once, bottom 2 twice, and then come up underneath the second one, grab that one, and then around the back, grab the bottom one. So you got this cool pattern going. And that's 2 sets. I'm going to show you because we'll do 5 sets of these. So around twice, then grab the second wire around the back, and grab the bottom wire. And that's 3 sets. Around both. Once. Twice. Through the middle, under the second. And then under the first. And that's 4 sets. And if you have a hard time seeing it, sometimes once you take your nylon pliers and smash it down, it makes for a better visual on your sets there. I went with a dark wire. It seemed right at the time. Okay, so you see how that's 4 sets. So we're going to do one more. Around both of them twice. And then under the second. Under the first. Alright, I think that's 5 sets. So on this next one, we're going to do 4 wires. So we're going to wrap around all 4. There's one. Trying to keep my spacing here. Space these out nice. Don't rush, because once it's done, it's going to look really good. And then around twice. And then this next move will help space these wires out. So now we're going to go into the 4th. We're going to start at the top. We're going to go under the 4th wire. And then under the 3rd wire, around the back. Under the 2nd. And over. And over the bottom wire. So you got 2 wraps, and then you just grabbed each wire on the way back down in the back. Alright, so we're going to do one more set of that. So we're going to go around all 4 again, twice. Alright, so you went around all 4 of them twice, and you're going to, from the back, you're going to grab that top wire, and then under the third, around the back, under the second, and over and around the back, and then that bottom one. Alright, so then we're going to flatten it out, smush it down, smush, 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 so we get a good look at it. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, so this would be like a complete set. So then we do 5 more, and then grab 3 wires, then 5 more, then grab 4 wires. I don't know if I should keep filming this part or go farther, but we're going to do a few more sets of that. Let me count how many sets we need. Alright, so when we're done, we'll have 7 of these that reach the 4 wires. So this would be 2, and then we're going to put another one here. It's the beginning and the end. If you count the beginning, if you count these 4 right here, it's going to be 7, but on the last one we're going to be doing this stitch. So I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to do 5 and then 3 wires, 5 and then 4 wires, and I'll meet you back after I got a few more. Maybe I'll do a few more sets with you so you help understand a little bit. I'll be back when I get 4 or 5 more patterns on. Okay, so I've got a few more sets on there. You can see it's, if you count the 4 wire ones, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm on the 6th one here. I thought I would go through this one with you guys just for a last description of it, if you had a hard time understanding the weave. So on this one we grabbed the 3 wires. We're going to grab all 4 on this one. I'll try to keep it in focus here real good. So we're going to go around all 4 wires twice. Remember not to squeeze them too close together. So go around them twice, and then when you're in the back here, you're just going to go underneath the 4th one and around the back. And then underneath the 3rd one. You're just grabbing each wire on the way down. And underneath the 2nd one here. And then grab that last one. So we went around both of them twice. And we're going to do another set of that. So we're going to go around both of them again. There's twice. And then underneath the top one. Around the back. Around this 3rd one. Around the 2nd one. And then this bottom one. And then grab your nylon pliers, smash it down, push it down. See, I've got 2 sets on there. And then we're going to do the 5 again. So you grab both of the 2 bottom wires, go around those 2 bottom ones twice, then come up underneath the 2nd one, around the 2nd one, and then underneath the 1st one. It's hard to see until you flatten it out a little bit, and then you kind of see you got another set on there. So again, you just grab both twice. Once you're in the back, you go under the 2nd one and over the top of the 2nd one, and then around the bottom one. Just once. Then around both, just the 2 wires twice. Come up under the 2nd, and then around the bottom one. Go around both twice. Under the 2nd one, and over, and around the bottom one. See how many that is. So that looks like 4 sets. Let's do one more. So around both. through the middle, grab the second one, grab the bottom one. Alright, so we just did 4 wires there, so this next one will be 3 wires. So grab 3 wires twice. Once you're in the back, keep your wires nice and separated. Go behind and under the 3rd wire, around the top into the back, slip under the 2nd one, under the 1st one. And that's one set. I'm going to do 2 of those. Round all 3 of them twice again. Once you're in the back, slip under that 3rd one. Grab the 2nd one. And this pattern is approximately 4 inches. We'll measure once we're done, but getting close. I think we need 5. Another set of 5 on here. We'll be at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Alright. So I'm gonna do the 5 and I'm gonna jump to the end just to save a little time. Alright, I'm on the last 5 here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then on this last one, we want it to match this side. So after you got your last 5 on there, we're just gonna go up each wire, just grab it, just like we did in the beginning. So we're going to go over 2, and then under the 2nd one, over 3, and under 3, over 4, and under 4, and then around the back, and we're going to grab each one on the way back down. So we're just going to go under the 3rd one, around the back, go under the 2nd one, around the top, over the 2nd one, and around the bottom one. So that's once. So let's do it again. So we're going to go up and over the 2nd one, and under the 2nd one, over the 3rd, and under the 3rd, over the 4th, and under, around the back, under the 3rd, over the 3rd, under the 2nd, over, around the back. Did we do 3 on this one? No, we only did 2. So we'll just do 2. And let's see this, in case you do want to do a different pattern. Another nice thing about this pattern is, like when you have to slip a wire in here to grab it to the frame, that you don't have so much weave up here that you can't get between the wires. Like these ones makes it nice so you can slip through those wires if you need to. So if you do a different pattern, you just note that you might need to grab through these wires. So let's see, it's about 4 inches, just shy about 4 inches. So if you do a different pattern, it's going to be about 3 3/4 inch pattern. So push it down. Let's see how far I am to the end here. About 4. And this one is, I kind of want to center these a little bit. I mean, one's 4 and one's almost 4 1/4. And you know, if you are careful, you can scoot your pattern down a little bit, you know, micro, and then just push it, keep pushing it down. Try not to fold your pattern, but you can micro move it like that. But I think it's pretty okay. I just like it centered. You know, your pattern's centered in your 12-inch wires here. Alright. Let's see if I moved it at all. It doesn't appear so. That's pretty close. That's pretty close. Okay, so the next step. Yeah, there is our little coil act. Okay, so now that you've finished your weave, and with the solid weave at the bottom here, we're going to kind of bend it into a circle. It's going to go around our, make sure you got your face in front so you're not looking at the back side. The back side does look a little different, so I don't know if you want that pattern, but I'm going to go with this, more cleaner. So we're going to make sure you got the front on your little design here, so the wires are in the back, clear in the front. And we're just going to start shaping this into a little circle. Just slowly kind of shape it with your fingers. Just work it around. You're going to want it to sit inside the coil like this one. can start in the middle here, just slowly shape it ever so gently. Don't want a square. Just slowly start bringing it together. You can leave your weaving wire on there, or if you took it off, that's fine too. You can just reattach it. So we want the weave to fit inside the coil because we want to see the coil. We don't want to cover it all up. So we want to make it a little smaller than the coil so it gets a nice show on it. So just keep working it around till you get a nice shape. I'm going to come back after I make sure mine's nice and round and that your weave comes up to either side of the bead there. You got a nice show on your coils. I'll be right back. I'm just going to shape mine a little bit rounder. I'm just going to detail it up. Okay, I got it shaped the way I like it. Got a lot of the coils showing, and I got it kind of meeting up here with the top bead, kind of centered. And using the pattern that we put on here, you can see that this bottom stitch, the one that reaches the 4 wire right here at the bottom, right there at 6 o'clock, is the center right below the bead here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to just go ahead and detach my weaving wire. I'm going to tie it off. I'm actually going to tie it off to the second wire up. I'm going to wrap it 3 times. Where am I here? Just going to slip between those 2 and then wrap this one 3 times. I'm going to just warp my little circle, but I need this weaving wire, so I'm just going to break it off here. And I'm just going to spin it. Make sure your weave is nice and pushed down, nice and snug. Bring it back together here. You could leave, if you got an extra piece of weaving wire, you don't need to take that off, you don't want to. But what we need to do is we're going to cut a couple pieces of weaving wire, approximately like 5 to 8 inches long, so you can get a good grip on it. I need 3 of those. So we're going to tie it onto the coil. So, and just a few pieces of that. You just set that there for a second. Okay, so when you grab your frame, so if you didn't do the same weave, you just want to make sure that you're dead center below your bead here on your coil. So I'm going to grab that one spot right there. And what I'm going to do is you see on either side, I'm going to come up from behind it, grab my little weave wire. I'm going to come up and slip it through that bottom 2 wires. Now if your wires are tight, you could use a little pokey thing to get through there. And I don't want to see any wires tied to the front, so on the other side of this design, I'm going to come up behind it on this side of it. If I can get my wire through there. Trying to stay in camera, but it's hard to zip. It went right through there. Okay, so I got this little piece here on either side, so when I tie it to the coil, it won't really look like, you know, it'll be balanced, the wire on each side. So I got that one going. And then this one here, like the 3 o'clock mark, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to slip one side of the wire on one side of it. Right through there. And then the other side of this wire, I'm going to come up on the other side of it. I just like it because it's, you know, the less you see where your wires are tied on, I think it looks good. So, just going to flip it over and go through there. Might have to get the pokey thing out. They're not too close together, but enough that it doesn't want to go. And this wire is really soft, so it doesn't want to go through there. Oh, come on. Get in there. Ta-da. Okay. So, about half. Oh boy. Just love it when the wires kink. Just straighten them out and pull it through. So I'm just getting a little bit on each side, kind of same amount of wire on each side here. So a little lot on this side. That should be plenty. So from the front, where's the front? That's the front. So I got 2 here on the 6 o'clock one, and 2 over here. I came up from behind there. You won't see that. You probably won't see a lot of this since it'll be behind the little arms, but just in case. And I'm going to do another one over here at 9 o'clock on this side. I'm going to come up behind this. Ooh, went right in there, about halfway. And then come up behind this one. Come on, get in there. Be difficult. I can see it. So gently. Well, if you like tedious work, this is a good wrap to do, because this one, it's not hard, it's just real tedious, because you're going to have a lot of little wires that you got to fish through stuff, but take it as a challenge. Okay, so we got 3 wires on here. This looks pretty good. So kind of fix your circle a little bit, and then make sure it's face up. My circle seems a little out of whack. Okay. So just get center right below the bead there. When you like where it's positioned, make sure your little weaves on either side of your center. You know, your weaves right and centered in front. And remember, you want your frame not to cover your coil all the way, so hold it up at least halfway off of it. And when you like your position there, and do the middle one first on the bottom. I noticed that the rest, you don't do this side first, do this one. So holding it right there, right where you want it to go through. Grab one of these wires and then just pull it down through that coil and around the back. And then find a space for this one and pull it right down through the coil around the back. And if it's hard to grip, you'll feel it go through. And you can pull these wires pretty hard. Get them to go in there. And since it's not tied down, you can just kind of come around here and pull these wires through the frame, right over there. This one too, just come right under it. And we're going to chase that line. Let's see. Maybe it'll be on this side. Yeah, we both want to be over on this side of it. I'm just following it along its path just to tie it in. Push it back up on that frame. And then again, pull these down into the coil. A couple wraps and they'll disappear, and then you can just twist them off. So you don't really see that at all. Disappears in there. And then just push these through. I think you can still lift up on this. See them wherever they lay. Just pull it down through again. Right into the coil. Try and this one, I kind of right down in. And once you're back here, you can just pull the coils down like that, and then you can snip them back here behind the frame. Push those in, you won't feel that because that's where the rock's going to sit. And then push your coil back, push your frame back over the face of the coil so you got a good show on it. So these are the ones we won't be able to lift up on it, but that bottom one we can get a good grip on that one. So we went around that one like 3 times and you can't even, it's like disappears in there. Very tight. So on this one, we're going to do the same thing. And two, you want to hold your coil down so you get a good show on it, and then these will lay in a different spot, because like if you go out here, you pull it down, see it moves it, so you want a good face on it. So I'm thinking like right about there, and pick your spot that you want it to go through the coil. I'm liking that right there. So just hold that down and then just pull that through into the coil, pull that one into the coil. It holds it in there pretty good. So I'll go a little grumpy. You can hear it. So on the front, on this one, you just have to kind of fish it through the frame. But it's not tied. It's all open, so it just goes right through. And this one, make sure you get them both through before you pull it through the coil, because I think, you know, one's in front of the other. So you go back here and make sure they're in line. And come back here and then just pull it down to where, pull it into the coil. And 1 or 2 is plenty, because you know the little octopus is going to be on there wrapped around it too, so it's not like this is going to get, it's not going to fall off. And then just trim it right back there if you can see behind the frame. You won't see it. Little trim. And it disappears. So that holds the frame on there real nice. And then the same thing on this side. Hold in your coil. Make sure you push it, kind of maneuver it again so you got the right spot where you want it. And let's see where these 2 are going to sit, where they want to. I'm liking that spot right there, and that one. And I'm just going to pour it down into that coil. Get in there. I hear it pop in there. It's tight, so it doesn't want to go in there. Alright, and then back and around the front. And do this one first. Slide it into the frame, and then, you know, if you miss a row, I mean, it'll still go into the coil, but if you chase in the row, it gets a better grip on it, like if you're chasing the path that it was on. So just pull that back into the, they're hard to hang on to when they're too short. There, that one went in there. So I'm liking where that one is. See if I can get that on. You see where it's in there? Just pulled it right in there. Okay. Back to this side. And then snip it back there behind the frame. 2 at a time. If you feel it, just push it back in the way. Alright. So we got that. It's really pretty. Get a good show on your coil there. I like that. Boy, that green with the antique is a pretty combo. I haven't tried this color combo, so I'm hoping it turns out good. You can still shape your little... See, now it looks like a little captain wheel. It's got the little handles on it. Even though you don't see it so much. Kind of like the idea. Okay, so now, on this one, let's see. Alright, so now we're gonna shape the top of this so it goes up like and around the back. So you're going to want to hold it down. Make sure you got, like I said, you got good position on your coil here. And with your thumb holding it right there, you're just going to kind of just bend it up a little bit. And do this side too. Kind of hold your coil back a little bit. Make sure it's nice and round. Hold your coil down, nice show. And then just kind of move your finger up a little bit. Just keep doing that on both sides so they're side by side pretty much. Ever so gently here. Okay, let's check your little stone in there. It's going to be so cute. I like those blues in there. Alright, so we're not going to wrap the two inside wires. So just kind of gently fold those forward out of the way. Just sweep them. It's not drastic. Just kind of out of the way. And kind of flare these ones out a little bit. And those ones on this side. So back to the weaving wire. Right. So we'll start on this side. And we're going to start with this inside one here. Come closest. I always do clockwise, so I'm going to start on the outside here. Go around the back. Just grabbing this inside one 3 times to get a grip on it. And sliding it all the way down. I'm in the back here. So I'm going to do the same this kind of cool pattern here. I'm going to go around all 3. I'm going to go around all 3 twice. And you could do any pattern you want. We just want a solid, you see how this one looks is like a solid pattern all the way back. Actually, it looks like I weaved them together there. Okay, well, let's do that. Alright, so it's these are going to come together. But when we bring them together, we don't want to cover up the little bead in the center. We want the weave to start above the bead. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to unwrap this. I'm going to wrap this middle bar all the way till I get above the bead. So I forgot that they came together there. You see how I'm down here inside this weave? I'm going to wrap up to right here, just that single bar. Just to get above it. This looks kind of pretty when it just kind of pops out a little bit right there. So you can see I did that before. On this one I wrapped a little bit up of it. Up. Whatever that was. Okay, I'm just going to grab. Ew! Sheesh. I always try to do that. And you can count them too if you want to match the other side exactly, but I think my weave's a little lower on this side, so I'll need a few more on this one. It's okay if your pattern's not, you can see like mine's down here and then up here, a little off center, but that's okay. Just going to put a couple more on this. Above it, and I think a couple more. Yeah, and if one side is, if your weave's lower on one side, then wrap the lower side to match up. Because like on this one, I actually I wrapped coils on both sides to match, to bring them both up to this level. But this one's not going to be as much. And I don't think I'm going to wrap the other one to match. I mean, you could if you really wanted it to be identical. Trying to see if that's above the bead. I'll go a little more. Okay, it's getting close. Maybe two more. Yeah, that's above it. Okay, maybe I'll fold these out of the way so you can see better here. I'm going to bring these 3 on each side together in the middle. And if this little tie is in your way, you can remove that so you can see better. Alright, so we're up on this bar in the back here. So going clockwise, we're going to go down through the center and then up and behind this other first one. This is going to determine this distance between your little gap there. So we're going to bring them together to the distance that we like. I think I'm going to go about like that, just so that these 2 middle wires are just either side of the bead. And you wrap it, and then you're gonna go behind. Since you wrapped this one once, you came through, and then you're gonna wrap this next wire up. Just grab that and wrap around that one. And then the same thing on this one. You're gonna come up behind it and go around it. So the wire's coming toward you. And you're going to go over 2 wires on the way back. And then between, let's see, should we number these? So this will be, let's pull this out of the way. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Or we could do 3 on the top and then 3 on the bottom. So you came up between the 5th and 6th one here. And then you're going to go down through the center and then wrap, come up above that 4th one there, and then down through the center. And since you're coming down through the center, you're going to come up underneath the 3rd one, a little zigzag, and around the top. Come in under the 2nd one. Pull those wires together. And under the bottom one, the first one, grab that one. Alright, so that kind of set the distance there. And we want to bring these together, so eventually we're going to have a meeting point here. Pretty close, you know. We don't want it to be way up here. We want it to come together like maybe a 1/4 inch above that bead. So we're going to start bringing them together. So I'm flattening out the tops, but I'm going to keep the bottoms pretty close. Just so we know we're supposed to bring them together tight. So you can push these down. And then starting here at the bottom, you're going to go over 2. And back under that 1. Over 2. And under 1. You're going to go through the center. And under and between, what would this be, 4 and 5. Keep these wires pushed down tight. And then you go down through the middle. And then you're going to grab the 5th one, go around the back, go over the front and grab that 6th one. And you come back over the top, and you're going to go over 2 wires. Back and up between 5 and 6, over 2 and back through 4 and 5, and down to the center. Come up behind the third one, over the third one, back behind and under the second, over the top, behind and over the first one. You're back at the bottom again here. Scoot your wires down. You're going to go back over the front, over 2 wires, and then under the 1 wire. Then over 2, and under 1. Back to the center. Trying to bring these wires together. Just fire them out so you can see better. So we're in the center. We're going to come up behind the 4th one, through the center, under the 4th one, over the 5th one, and behind the 5th one. Scoot your wires down, over the back of the 6th one, behind, and back over the 6th one. Over 2 wires, so you're going to come down under 5, come back over 5, down to the center, which is over 2 wires again, and then back up behind the 4th one, down to the center. So we're just kind of grabbing each wire as we go back and forth. So we're going to grab the 3rd wire, go behind it, under the 2nd, grab that one, under the 1st, scooch them down. And now we're in front, we're going to go over 2, and then under 2, and over 2 wires, which brings us over the 3rd wire, and then under the 3rd wire. And then you're going to go back down to the center, because that's where it's going to crisscross. Come up under, or over 4, and then down to the center. Up behind and over 5, and go back under 5. Over the top, grab 6, back over the top, scoot your wires down. Alright, and then you're going to go over 2 wires, which brings you under 5. Come up behind 5, to the center. Up behind 4, to the center. In the center, so you're going to come up under the 3rd one and over it, under the 2nd one and back over it, under the 1st one and back over it, back to the front, over 2, under 2, over 3, under 3, through the middle, and over 4, under 4, over 5, under 5, over 6, under 6. Squishing up. Smush, smush. So we're getting there. Alright, so where are we? On the back, so we're going to back up over the top of 6, under 5, over 5, under 4, over 4, through the middle. Trying to stay in focus here. So under 3, over 3, under 2, over 2. Back to front. So you're kind of like going over 2, under 1. If that makes sense. I don't know the easiest way to explain this. But we're just grabbing each wire back and forth and then making a little crisscross in the center. And just go around each one as you go back and forth. Kind of switches places after you come to the center, but it's really just the same pattern. So over 2, under 1, over 2, and back under 1, over 2, and back under 1. Okay, so almost to center here. So I'm going to do a couple more. for 2, back under 1, over 2, to the center, up under 3, up under 2, up under 1. So we're getting there. How far did I go on this one? Probably not too far. That's probably good. So once you get back, you're on this side, and you got just these 3 wires here. So we just brought the wires together a little bit. Looks pretty good. What we're going to do with these 3, we're going to go over each, we're going to go all over all 3 wires twice. And then we're going to go behind the top wire, or not these, we're just working on these 3 wires here. I'm going to grab that 3rd wire, then we're going to go back, we're going to grab that 2nd wire, and we're going to grab the bottom wire. Like that. We're going to go around, we're going to keep doing that, just going to go around them twice. And once you're in the back, you're going to go around the top one, the 3rd one. You're going to go back and around the 2nd one, and then around the bottom one. And you're going to do this weave till you have woven out absolutely as far as you can go on this one. And I'll meet you back here at the end. I just wanted to mention too, as you get farther down here, every so many wraps, you're going to want to, press it down and scooch it down and keep it real tight. It makes for a really nice pattern on there. Right, I'm going to keep going until we reach the end here. We're going to still doing the same wrap 2 times around, and then wrap each bar on the way back down. And we are just going to try to get as close as we can. We'll probably stop like right here. I'll meet you back then. Alright, so I reached the end here, and we're just going to tie off on the bottom one here. Just going to wrap that one 3 times. Just to lock it on there. Remember to press everything down real nice and scooch it down. We can remove this one. And that turned out pretty cool looking. I like that color. So that's the band. And then on this one we're going to do the same thing, but you can't flip it over and wrap it from back here because you see how your pattern would be different. It looks cool, but I think this looks better. So we're going to start. Remember, we're just working with these 3 right here. I'm going to start with this outside one because when I wrap 3 times, it'll push down farther than it would on the inside one. So I'm going to wrap that one 3 times. And then as I'm behind it, I'm just going to wrap the 2nd one down. And then go underneath you can just kind of move it a little bit out of the way here so you can get to it a little better. And then I'm going to grab the bottom one. And we're going to do the same pattern. We're going to go around all 3 of them twice. And then behind it, you're going to go underneath that top one, underneath the middle one and around it, and underneath the bottom one and around it. I'm going to repeat that, wrap around twice. And then while you're in the back, come under the top one, go back behind it, under the middle one, under the bottom one. And that's 2 sets. And then just give it a press and slide it down. The tighter the wrap, I think it just makes it look way cooler. Like that. So that's 2 sets. And then on this side, my wires are just a little bit longer than this side. So I'm going to wrap to meet up level with this side because there's no point in, they should match. So I'm going to wrap out until they're the same length on both sides. And don't trim your wires, we're going to leave that for leverage to pull on, but I'll meet you back here after they're both at the same same length weave. And I'll meet you back then. Okay, so I made it to the end here, and I got the weave matching the other side. You can see my wires are a little off, but that's okay. So you're going to tie off on the bottom one, wrap that one 3 times, and then just remove the tie, and then remove your starter tie down here. I already removed that one. And then just push these wires together like that. And what we're going to do is, actually we probably should create a little, like if you have a pencil, or you could just do it by hand as well. We're going to create the little loop, and you can put a chain on it. So I'm just going to do it by hand. I think that's about where I want it, a little size like that. And then on these ones, well, I'm going to have to move them out a little bit, but you're going to put a little curve on them, because we're going to go up and underneath here, and then through the front of this. So we'll just start with one, and just curve it up till you can start to put it between the coil and the frame. And when you pull on it, don't pull on your weave, because it'll slide right off of these little wires. I've done it several times. But you can push from the back here a little bit, and just kind of coax it up there a little bit. We're just going to start that one like that, and then we're going to line up this other one. We'll do them both at the same time, so we get it right on either side of that little bead. So we're going to slide it between the frame and the coil. You can pull on these wires all you want, but be careful not to grab your weave. So get them kind of in the same spot. Boy, I like that shiny green color. That's pretty. Right. So we're just going to keep working it up a little bit. And as you pull it up, we're going to pull it up till it's, right on the edge of that bead. Let me move these out of the way so you can see better. And work them up at the same time. Get them close up there. Careful pulling on your weave. And then you're going to kind of press. Just keep. Hang on one second. Alright, so I grabbed a little, it's like a little paintbrush. I'm going to put it up here to guard that I don't pull it down too low, just kind of like a little guide. And I'm going to try to move it closer to the coil. And on this side too, just trying to snug it up a bit. And again, just be careful of your weave. So I like that. And then if you can see your weave here, you just want to kind of bring it right up to the edge of the bead. Push this up a little bit. Just push it sideways so it gets close to it. It really cleans up the edges of any exposed wires. So we could start moving this around again. We're going to go up again and up through between the frame and the coil again. And just slowly crooks it up in there. And if you need to, you can grab these to help pull it up. So I'm getting another one right beside it. You can take your flat nose and just kind of press it closer. And then this one, let's get this one going around again. Put it right through there. This one's got a little extra long wires, so it's easier to hang on to. And then put it right side by side as your last coil there. Okay. Shape them so they match. Getting close. I like that. So on these ones, since it's not going to go around again, we're going to push them down in the back. Make sure everything looks symmetrical. Just smush stuff around. If you don't, this one side's a little too loose, just pull on it a little more. Put them side by side there. See how that looks in front. What we're going to do is we're going to trim. I want it to end up in here, so I'm going to just trim it just a little bit. Just going to take off a little excess here and grab your round nose. I'm going to put a little curve on them just so they want to go up in the frame. And grab your flat nose. Just give it a nice little, you can kind of squeeze these between the frame and the coil there. So you get, it'll just disappear. I think I can get in there even more and push that down. So you can't see it from the front. Just right behind the band there. Now let's do this side. I can trim a little of this off. Sometimes you gotta eyeball it a little bit, but then you might have to trim off a little more so it doesn't stick out past the frame in front. So you can kind of get a idea of where it's gonna go. I'm thinking this one might need to be trimmed just a little bit more. And then I just put a little turn down on it. So even doing that one is to push the weave back. And then just take your flat nose and push it right in there. Ooh. Looks pretty cool. Can't see anything from the front. And then if it's sticking off a little bit, you can just gently press, little micro presses, just to bring the frame back closer to your coil. Kind of hide the wraps there. I'm liking that. This looks a little high on this side. This looks like it's got a flat spot. But that looks pretty good. Just gonna move these out of the way. I like that. So these ones, I think I'm just going to cruise just inside this little opening here. And I think I'm going to put a little twist on them. Something like that. Twist it again. And one more time. Just a little twist design. And then bring those down the back. And then we're going to go through, we're going to cruise right inside on the side of the two center ones here. I'm going to go one on either side. And we're going to go up through the frame. We're going to follow that. I'm going to stay in that groove. I'm going to grab my nylon pliers and pull it through. And then just keep your finger right there so it stays in between those two coils. And two wraps there. And chase it around again. And this one you want it to end in there. So we're going to bring it around to see how much room there is. And see, we want it to end right behind there. So I'm just going to cut it like right here. So it goes enough to disappear back there. Grab your round nose. Kind of back it up just a little bit. Put a little point on there, and do a better job than that. Just putting a little turn down on it. And I'm just trying to press it into that groove. Like so. Just tucking it in there so it disappears behind the frame. I do the same thing on this one. Put a little nice round bend in it. Oops, gotta back up a little here. Skipped a step. Put it through the frame. Right in there. You can give it a nice little pull once you get it in there. Match the other side. I'm going to go around that. And then we're going to end it again right there, so I'm going to trim it probably like right there. Just leave enough to get behind it. And I'm going to get a little pile going here. I'm going to pull it back just a little so I can put a little turn down on it. I might have cut that one a little too long. As long as it doesn't stick out this side. Yeah, I think I'm going to trim it just a little more. Yeah, that's better. It went right in there. Just push all this out of the picture. And if you want the bead to show more, you could put your flat nose in there and then just kind of move them apart a little bit. If you want to, just give it a little more of a show. But I'm liking that. Just a little press here, a little press there. I think that looks pretty good. Nice and clean. There's no pokies on it whatsoever. So now we get to start the little octopus. Okay, be right back. Okay, we're going to start the little octopus now. So you're going to grab your 6 wires that are 11 inches long. We're just going to start in the middle. We're just going to start with 1. And we want to do the middle, so about 5.5, and then just kind of back it up to, let's just start like at the 5-inch mark. And you're going to grab the color of your 28 gauge, the color you want your little octopus. I'm going to start at the 5-inch mark here. These little legs are going to be on either side, so I'm going to start kind of in the middle. We're going to put 3 wraps on this to see it started. Alright. And then we're going to grab, this one's going to go on top of it. And we're going to go just around these 2, just once. Actually, let's go around these twice. So around these twice. I'm going to grab the 3rd one, put that one on top. Make sure they're level on one end. And we're going to go around all 3 of them twice. Alright. Kind of separate your wires out a little bit. you can get around them better. Alright, so you went around all 3 of them twice, so now we're just going to go around the bottom 2 twice. And then go around the bottom 1 twice. And then again we're going to go around 2 of them twice. Kind of make them little triangles here, and then all 3 of them twice. I don't know what we're creating, and then the bottom 2 twice, and just the single bottom 1 twice. And then let's grab our nylon pliers, smash that down. And this, we're working on her little face part around the gem here. So we're going to create like a little circle around that. So I'm thinking we're going to put maybe a couple more on here. So we're going to go around the bottom 2 twice. Keep your wires spaced out just so you can see air through them. And then go around all 3 twice, and then the bottom 2, and then the single bottom 1 twice. Let's do 4 of those. On that one, around all 3 twice, and then the bottom 2 twice, and then the bottom 1 twice, and then flatten that out. Okay, let's see the gem. Getting closer. Okay. So now that's a little bit of a tricky part, because we got to tie the back on. You can remove this tie, this little one here. Okay, so the next wire you're going to grab, and you're going to put it on the bottom here. Put it over the top of your wire on the bottom. Level it up on the end here. And still pull them through a little bit, make sure they're level. Okay, and this one is on the bottom. So, but the thing is we want to incorporate the top to be the same, and then we're just going to include this bottom one. So on this one, normally you would be grabbing the bottom 2, but these, now you're going to grab the bottom 3 twice. And the bottom 3 again. And then you're going to grab this next wire here and put it on top. Spread your wires out so you can get around them good. And on this one, because it looks like you've just wrapped the 3 middle ones, you're going to go down along the new one. And wrap that once and over the top and come up behind it. And then you're going to grab this one. I promise this is the only weirdest weave we're just trying to grab these to hang on to them. These ones are going to go around the back of the gem to hang on to its little face. And then we'll just be working with the top 3 again. Okay, so kind of spread these out. So you got 3 there, 3 there. Alright, so you went around. So on this one, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to go up over all of them, all 6 of them. And then when you come back down, go above that last one. We're mimicking the last stitch, so it's going to be just the reverse. So you're up above this bottom one, and since you already went over twice on the top, like you did over here, when you come up here, you're going to just stay under the top one. We're just tying these together. So then when you come back behind it again, you're going to, instead of the first bar, you're going to come up behind. You're going to come up above the second bar. And then since you're still doing 2 up here, you're going to stay under the top bar, just on top, under the top bar there. And that's 2 there. And then it'll appear like we're going to wrap the 2 center bars. Because you got 2 here, 2 here, and then 2 in the center. So you're going to go just right and grab those 2 center ones twice. There's 1. And twice. And then just kind of move these bottom 3 down and out of the way because we're not going to wrap those anymore. So it won't be confusing anymore. We just wanted to put a little tie in there to hold these 3 wires together. So you can flatten this out. And we've just kind of created like a little diamond in the center. It's kind of a funky little weave there. So that's just to hold the wires there. I don't know if I can get a good shot of that. But now we're working with just these top 3 again. So you're gonna wrap. So let's just call this one the bottom one, because these ones are just, you just pretend they're not there. We're just working again. We're just doing exactly what we did over here. And we're gonna work up here. So just ignore these 3. You can kind of swoop them down out of your way if that helps. So I'm gonna call this the bottom one. It's the 3rd one down here. So you're going to wrap that one twice. And then you're going to come back underneath it and wrap those 2 twice. And then all 3 of them twice. And then reverse, you're going to grab the 2 again. See if I can move these down even more. See, make sure they're level here. So you're going to bend these down, make sure that your wires are level on the end. Just don't want it to be confusing. Okay, so we wrapped around that once. So we're going to wrap around both of those again. And then a single one, wrap around that one twice. Once, twice. And then let's press that down. Alright, so we did 4 on this side, so we're going to do 4 on this other side. So again, we're just going to wrap the 2. Twice, then all 3 of them twice, then the 2, and then the bottom one twice. Okay, I'll do 2 more off screen and then come back, so it'll have 4 and 4 on each side. Alright, so I got 4 on each side, 4 little triangle weaves there. And I'm trying to get a good shot of it for you to see. But in the end, you want to make sure that all your wires are level here on this end. Just measure them all up. And then ideally, we want this little point right here to be in the center of your 11-inch wires. So ideally they should be at, that little point should be at 5.5. I'm a little off there, but you can slide your weave down just a little bit to match that. That way your legs on either side of the octopus are, you're working with the same amount of length for his legs. So keeping the weave smashed down, I'm just trying to move it down to where it's about the 5.5. That's pretty close right there. Yeah, I don't mind that. I'm going to move it down just a little bit more. Alright. Okay. So we got this far. And what we're going to do is we're going to shape these wires around this little stone. So these three that are on the point, these are going to be the back of this stone. So I'm just going to try to ignore these three, and I'm just going to bend these three in a half circle. See if I back up a little bit here. Is that too far? No, that's okay. So these are just hanging out, and they'll slide through, so just be careful that they don't fall out. But they'll be tied in a second here. So we're just trying to create a little, the gem's going to go right in here. So just create a little circle, and you can see that your gem is, it's got to go over the front of the gem a little bit. So just keep making these smaller and smaller. So I'm getting something like that. Move that wire out of the way. What we're trying to do is we're going to curve that around the gem, but it's not that easy because you can have that kind of got them flattened out, and you want it to go over the circle a little bit, right? So it covers the gem a little bit, and then you want to bring your wires in around it. So you just got a little cover over the gem. And then in the back, what we're going to do is, well, it's probably just easier to make sure they're still centered. And you can just bend these. It's just easier to do it this way first, they'll fold down. So just put a nice little bend on that side. You can kind of just curve them around your finger to start, because they'll lay flat too. See those? They smash down like that. And if you put the gem in there, this is the back of the gem. It's going to be a little fidgety at first. Grab the very bottom wire. Just get a hold of that one at the bottom. This is the bottom one. So you can put a kind of a good bend on that one. And then the next one up, you could do the same. Not easy to do on camera. Probably not easy, period. And then put a nice little bend on this one. And then the third one back. Put a nice little bend on that one. Just kind of trying to pre-shape it. If you want, you can take these ones that go out, you can swoop them out a little bit. You can swoop these three out towards you, these two, three from you. So they're kind of just running. I just kind of fold it here. Probably just the easiest way. Just kind of fold them down. So you got something like that in the back. In front, we're kind of doing the same thing. You want it flat so it goes around the gem. And this is definitely, I think, the hardest part is just to get it started. But make kind of like a little rainbow out of it. If you want, you can open that up. And these three are just folded here. You could just put the little gem in there so it just sits in there. And put this over the top. We're going to sandwich it in there. I haven't made one of these in a while, so I'm a little rusty, but that's okay. It'll work. Get in there. So just slide that down. So you kind of hold it like that. I'm just going to kind of pull these together. See in the back there? I'm just trying to hold the gem down as low as I can so you don't see any air above it. And then, you can divide them in half and then kind of just bend the wires out. This colored wire is stiffer than just your regular copper, your bare copper. So this is a little harder to work with. So I just kind of flared out each side. I'm still trying to bring them together for the neck. But that's going to be her little face. Like this one. So we're just making the little top here. And this is the hard part, but once you get it in there, alright, so you're this close, and we're going to create the little neck. So you are pinching these together down here. So you got like good coverage over the top of the gem and the back of the gem. And then what we're going to do is your wire is right here. So let's flare this side out a little more. Get these going this way and this one going this way. Make it a little less confusing. So you're going to have the three in the back. So let's pull those three down. And on this side, same thing. You're going to have those three in the back. I'm just trying to little separate so you can kind of understand this a little better. So, but your weave ended right here on that little bar there. So the best you can, again, just push those three in the back down. We are gonna tie those, but just leave it less confusing. So we're just working with these three. So you're gonna grab each wire. So you're gonna go over two, but then you're gonna go back under. So you're gonna go over this second one here, and I'm just went over both just to get it down here. And then you're gonna, so you're like basically over two and then under one. So you're gonna come up between them, and then you kind of you're gonna go over the top here, and then under this top one. So now we're at the top right next to the gem here. So push that gem down in there. And then these two top wires, I'm going to bring them close together. I'm just trying to bring the wires, trying to stay in the camera here. I wonder if bring those wires as close as you can. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, just so we cover it. Okay, 3 pointing down here. These 3 pointing down here. I know it's confusing because it's so shiny, but so we're just going to jump across the gem and we're going to grab this one. So you just go right over the top and then just grab the one on the other side. So we're going to create the neck. And then we're just going to go around each wire as it goes down. So you grab this one, you're going to grab the next one. Just the next one that's in line. Let's see. Trying to make it so you can see it better here. Yeah, so we're on the 3 on this side now. So grab this one. Now we're going to grab the third one down. And now we're onto the back. So we're going to have to grab each one of these in line. That's not too confusing already. Okay, so I folded up the 2 wires just to try to show you more clear what I was trying to do. So the ones that are closest to the gem behind it, you want to grab that wire. I'm going to wrap that one once and pull it in really tight back here. And since I just have these laying here, I'm going to fold up the next one. I'm going to grab this next wire. And snug it up real tight. I'm going to fold up this last wire. It's the only way I could try to do it on camera without being too confusing. And then I'm going to grab that last wire there on this side. And snug it up real tight to the other ones. And that wire we just folded there, I'm going to go to the other side and grab all 3 of those. So we're going to grab the next one over. Just one at a time. Bring that wire down. You want to pull these close. You see the point of the stone is right there in the middle. You might be struggling with this, but once you get these ones tied on, it'll all just be a lot easier. Then grab the next one. Make sure you got the right one, so if you don't want your wires overlapping. Then grab that wire once. And snug it up to that last wire as close as you can get it. And then there's one more back here. Grab that one. So the 6 that you had in the back, I just wrapped each one. Push them back together. You see, this is kind of what we did. We just, tied all of the 3 together on this side and then jumped across the gem and tied around the back. Just going around in a circle till we're back here in front. So now we're on this side of the gem again. You see these 3 wires here? We're going to do the same thing. We're just going to wrap each one. No special pattern, just one at a time in order. And you can start moving those out of your way. Okay, so let's grab the next one. And I promise it will get easier to see. We're going to move the legs out a little bit so they're easier to work around. And then grab the next wire. Just wrapping each wire once. Just forming the neck on it. Getting a good grip around the gem. I'm going across the base of it again. Grabbing the next wire line. Sorry it's confusing, but now we're working on this side. We're just grabbing each wire, cinching it up tight, then over the next one, and over the third one, down close. So we're just going to tie them together. You just try to keep track of each wire you're doing. Like I said, you can start moving them out. So we got 3 and 3 here. So now we're going to do the 3 in the back. So just kind of remember it that way. You're going to do 3 across the front. You can spread them out too. That doesn't hurt a thing. Go around the next one. Snug it up down to the bottom, and then around this third one in the back. Scoot your wires down. Now we're back on this other side here. And you can separate them as a little bit too, so you can see them a little better. See if I go like this, you can see it better. So we're on this side now. We got the 3 in the back wires, and these are the 3 in the front. So if you made it this far, you're doing good. I was wondering if I could even film this tutorial. It seems so tedious. Okay, so we're going to grab the first one on this side. Scooch it all the way up. And keep them as close as you can. Grab the second one. And then the third one. Slide it all the way down. So we're getting a good little neck going here. And then we're back to the front side. So that's the hardest part, is getting the little thing started. So now we really want to push in on the neck, and as you shape the neck, you're going to pull the start of the legs out. So we're getting kind of like a little start there. I'm just trying to get, because this has got to fit inside of your, the whole octopus has got to fit in here. So when you do the neck, you don't want a really long neck, or you're going to be all up in the top of it, So we want to keep the neck as close to the gem as possible. So just keep push that gem down, and then let's see the nylon pliers. You can just bring it together. That's good. You want it close together. And the more you weave it together, and then too, like when we wrap the little eyes around here, it's gonna cover all this up, so don't have to worry about that. And then we're just gonna keep moving around the neck. What I want to mention too is, like, once you push them all in around your gem, fold your wires out real close to the neck. Get as close as you can up there, and you want to start flaring them out. And now that you got them all tied together, you can kind of, use the wires as a guide. Kind of spread them out like that. And then on the back, if these slide up, you can just pull these wires down to get behind the gem better. I'm pushing down on these wires just to get them low. And this will help hold those neck wires up too. So we're getting this start of this little guy going. I'm going to fix this gem. I'm going to push this gem up in there more and then get the neck closer, and I'll be back. Alright, so we're at this point, and I went off camera for a little bit just to try to curve this around there and get it scooched up, and then, you know, once you get a couple wraps around the neck, you can, you know, pull these wires down and then kind of pull them out to get more like of a neck going. And then if you turn it upside down, you can start just moving all these little legs out and down. So you can see around each one. And then I'll see if I can turn it from this side here, see which way is the best. Wherever you are at, it's better if you just turn it. Oh my gosh, hang on one second if I move this around. Okay, I got an ultra ride there, I kept hitting the camera. Alright, so we're on the front here, and on this side, wherever little leg you started off, we're just going to keep wrapping each leg. So you're just going to go around the next one, cinch it up, and then just keep working around. Just one wrap around each. So you get a nice tight wrap. Just keep going around each one. Sliding it down to the bottom. One at a time. Kind of easier looking at it like this from the bottom side. And then if you take your eyes off of it though, you'd be like, which one was I on? But just keep working around. And, I don't know if you can see the back, but that's how you want it to look. Just wrapped around the gem there, holding in the gem. You can pull your wire to see what ones you're on, and just keep going around to the next one. Slide it down and pull it tight. Try and make like a little cinch spot down there around the neck. Keep that gem in there real good. And keep moving your legs out here. Moving, you can pull them out and down so you get more of a neck. I'm going to do a couple more before we change. Let's go around the whole octopus neck like 2 times. And I'll meet you back. We're just going to go around each one. This is the fun part, I think. Once you get past that, putting a little gem in for her face, that's the hardest. Okay, so I'm in the back, but I'm just gonna wrap around the neck till we have like a couple more passes on there. Remember to just do one at a time all the way around. And I'll meet you back after I'd say 2 full wraps around. So I got a couple wraps on, so it looks like we're about right there on the neck. But we're going to keep going a little more. I'm thinking we're going to do like 3 more. See how underneath here, we're going to come out till we get like a nice little skirt around it. So we're going to come out, let's put on like 3 more wraps around, all the way around. And when you are wrapping it though, make it a point that when you're wrapping it, that you're going from the, it's hard to explain, but you want to go over the top of each one from the octopus side, because what I'm trying to explain is like when you wrap these ones, there's like those little ridges show, and you want it to be smooth on the outside of the octopus. So you want all of the when you're wrapping it this way, you want to come under the wire and then back to the front. So the loop is on the inside of the octopus. So you go around this one, the loop's on the inside. So you catch them on the outside. You don't want to come through here and then wrap it. You want them all going, wrapping them all the same way. From underneath, then come up underneath it and around, underneath it and around. So it's all the same way. Underneath it and around. I'll do a couple more, and you'll see like it's a nice soft pattern on top, and then these little ridges are on the bottom. So yeah, you can see each bar in there, but from the top it'll be just as smooth to each one, if that makes sense. So that's how we're going to keep wrapping it. So just from underneath and over the top. And just slowly rotate it in your hands. Make sure you got a lot of wire on your bobbin. I'm going to remove the wire once I get a few more wraps on there. But I'm going to go around again like maybe 2 or 3 more times and show you where I'm at. But we want a nice little skirt on the, a nice little neckline come down. So let's just do a couple more and I'll meet you back. So I got a couple more wraps on there. It kind of looks like a little spider web almost. So I'm just doing one at a time. And we're just trying to get a nice little neck on her. And then, wrap them in and push them down nice and tight, really close together. So from the other side, it looks almost like a solid blue, or a solid color you're going with. And then all your wires are kind of fairly spaced out the same, so you got like a good spread on them. And we're going to get ready to shape these two, because the little legs, 2 of these wires are going to hold the little treasure that she's sitting on. And then the other ones are going to be the legs. So I think that we've got a nice start here. Let's see what it looks like on the other side. Oh yeah, it's got a nice little neck going. You see how on this one we've got a nice little, once you get down to the legs here, they start to separate. See how you want kind of a little neck going. And you want it to fit inside your little ring. So when you're looking straight at the little gem face, you'll see there's 2 that come down in the center here. And the 2 on this side and this side, it's going to be one. So this is going to be one little arm and this is going to be one little arm. So keep an eye on those 2, you can kind of hold them. And then these 2, this is going to be an arm. And this is going to be an arm. And then the 2 in the back, these 2 are going to be an arm. This wire and this wire are going to hold the rock. So you can just kind of fold these 2 down for now. So you see these 2 little arms in front that we were talking are going to be her little legs. Just put those 4 through. We're just going to get an eye for where she's going to fit in there. So put those 4 first ones in through the hoop there. I don't know if you have your little stone that you got picked out that she's going to sit on. Just making sure it all fits in there, because if you have to, you can, push the neck up a little tighter. But it looks like it's going to fit in there. So the stone's going to sit there. Oops, just a little measurement there. I can pull that frame off. So, oops. Back here, I'm trying to wrap this one. Just gonna move it over to this, wrap this side of the gem here. See if I can do this on camera. Okay, so we got a good little neck going there. I'm liking that. Nice little weave on there. I could make it a little longer. Let's see this one. Maybe a little more. I mean, maybe we should put a little bit bigger neck on there. Let's wrap it 3 more times. Thinking like out to here about. Sometimes you just kind of gotta eyeball the way how you feel it's gonna look, you know. Because I wanted to wrap. This is gonna be tucked up under here, and she's gonna hang on to it. So I want the neck to come down a little farther, I think. So, and I'm just gonna come out like 3 more wraps from there, and I'll be back. And those 2 that you folded down, you know, when you're continuing your circle, let's just see, those ones are up. You can just skip those 2. You can just keep wrapping, but not just go around those, because that's just going to grab the rock. So I'm just working around the back here. I'm still adding my loops. Pushing them down in there. But I only did 1 more since I was on last time, so I'm gonna do a couple more, and I am gonna skip over those 2 that hold the rock, because it's better if it's close to the rock anyway, so I don't need to wrap them in there, and then they'll hide behind these new wraps. So just keep wrapping it around. Oh, I should probably pause it and come back. Well, I'm just going to make 1 more circle around there so I have a better neck on there. Okay, so I put some more wraps on there, and I'm really liking the way that's looking. So, again, you're going to have the gem in front of you, and then these 2 wires are going to be 1 leg, and these 2 are going to be another. The ones on this side are going to be 1 leg, and this is going to be 1 leg, and then these 2 wires are going to be 1. And then the 2 wires that I folded down, right, so just take the 2 in the back of it, and the 1 on either side of those are going to come straight down underneath. This is going to hold your little treasure rock, and they come up and they're part of the eyes as well. So you're just going to put that little rock underneath there, and I got this weaving wire off to the side. And what we want to do is use these 2 down wires to try to hold in this rock very precariously, the best you can. Now this rock, this particular stone, or I guess a gem, has a flat spot in the back. I'm going to try to keep that in the back and then go around it. And then this just takes a little maneuvering, and you want to keep your wires on the outside of this stone on either side to kind of hide the fact that it's holding it. Like in this one, you know, you don't see that wire coming down and holding it in front. So you want to keep the holding wires off to the side. Keep your gem in front. Okay, so trying this a different way. So with it pointed right at you, and sometimes you're just going to have to wrap the rock you have the best way you can. But what I'm going to try to do, so I'm going to get this in here sideways. Let's see if I'll move these little 2 legs out of the way in front here. So I got this gem right in front of me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bend this wire around and go right over the top and through the back of the weave. So I'm just trying to wrap it. This gem looks like a little football, so I'm going to try to grab it on either side and push this right through the back in the center again, and this one, just trying to wrap it. And I want these two wires that I'm using to end up in the back behind the octopus, because like I said, it's going to come up behind and make the eyes. So I made kind of like a little, a really bad little cage holder here. I'm going to try to pull these back. And then it's just wrapped around. I'm just wrapping it around the stone. In fact, I could just do it without the stone for a second. Making like a little cage holder in here. Kind of up and over behind itself again, under the little cobweb in the back. Let's see, where do these two wires come out? So we're just going to try to cinch it up on the stone, little by little. I'm just trying to hold it up under the octopus and then keep the wires off to either side. So I'm holding either side and then I'll just pull these. It just takes time to mess around with it till it gets a good grip on it. Either any way that works best for you to grab it under there. I mean, I have tied the stone to the frame before, but I don't like these wires to go around the frame. So I'm just trying to shape it around the stone. And the legs of the octopus will hold it too, but I just want to get a basic, just like a, let's see, get some tools in here. This kind of a cradle on it. And again, I'm trying to keep these two wires in the center behind it. Oh boy. See, now do this on camera, it seems so much harder to explain it, and I mean, I know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to just get it to stay right under there. But I mean, it's not, you know, every stone's different, and it's going to be a little bit tricky. It looks so crooked. So the gist of it is to get it, see my legs, make sure your legs are level too, so you can get a better, but you see what I'm trying to do is just tie this stone under there and then move the wires off to the side so that you don't see them from the front once it's all put together. So I'm going to come back when I have that and just do the best you can and then try to end up with those two wires in the back behind the octopus. And I'll be back, show you what I got. Okay, so I have wire. Actually, it only took me like 2 minutes. I have the stone wrapped under there, kind of holding it kind of like a little football. You see, I just wrapped around it basically. And then that one leg that's going to come off in the back, remember I said that's going to be one leg there? Try to get these wires to come out on either side of it. One on this side of that leg and then one on this side of that leg. And you know, it's not real stiff in there, it's moving around a little bit, but I'm not worried about that because once we get her sitting on the frame and then we put the legs down around it, it's going to be held in there really good. Okay, so I got it kind of just wrapped around there on both sides, any which way you got it. And then these the two wires are going to come up on either side of the little neck there. So you got the two legs, this one out this way, these ones back here. So you're gonna, like, she's gonna have 5 legs. And she's got the stone here, precariously tied to her belly. And then these ones are gonna come forward and be the eyes. So back here, just kind of push these wires down along the neck here, as close as you can get them. Down flat, so they come in front here. Pull them nice and snug, and hang on to your stone too, so you don't pull them off your stone, because they are the ones wrapped around it. I'm just holding it there with my fingers. And then they're in front here, one on either side. So you're gonna push them down around the front of the neck there, so they come up in front of the stone on this side. And the same on this one, so they come up beside each other. Down low and tight, slow and tight as you can get them. And let's see, we're gonna need some wire for that. So make sure it's down there nice and low. And they meet up in the front there. I really don't like how this is bending out. I want it to stay closer like that. Alright, so we got them positioned so they kind of come together like a little hourglass in front here. And then I kind of need this weaving wire. I don't have any more. So I think I'm going to continue this little spider web till I get to the back here. And I'm going to tie it off. I'm going to tie it off in the back here on this back leg. So I'm going to wrap it 3 times. And then just remove that one for now. I'll be tying back on again to it, so. And I just ran out of wire. So I'm going to refill up my bobbin and I'll be back. Okay, so I put some more wire on my bobbin. And when I was off camera, you know how I was laying it along the neck here and I couldn't get it very low? I decided to crisscross them in the back to get a little better leverage. Either way will work fine though. But this is what we want in the front. It's like a little meeting them together here in the center of the gem. And then we're going to grab our 2 little beads that are 3 millimeters because we're going to put the eyes on. I'm just going to leave those there for a second because we're going to have to attach the wire first. So I'm going to leave it attached to the bobbin, but if not, you could probably just cut off like 10 inches or so. And we're going to wrap this one little arm here. I'm going to grab this one 3 times. And then slide it down to the bottom there. And what we want to do is we're going to go over both of these 3 times just to lock them together. Keep it down low as you can get it. You want her eyes not right in the center of your little stone. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then the same arm that you wrapped on, just wrap around that one a couple times. So there's 1. 2. 2, I'll do 3. Alright. And then you can just remove this, because we just wanted to tie those 2 wires together. Just scooch it down low. And palm down and then kind of turn these out a little bit. Something like that. I turned the flashlight off because it, I think you can see it better when it's this close. Alright, so you got it in the center of your gem there, down low on the front. And so you're going to grab your little millimeter bead, put it on there. You can do one at a time. I'm going to just put both on there just to see if I can. Get an idea where you want the eyes. So you're going to take this wire here and you're just going to spin it around. Just slowly turn it in a circle onto itself. Just going to go around that bead. And then around the top of it. Like so. And let's do the other one. So, whoa! Just fell right off of there into the unknown. Found it. Put it back on here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to bring it down and around on itself. Just curve it around its little bead there. To get these little eyeballs going. Okay, it's going to have a little face. Just move them down a little more. It's kind of cute. Let's pull them down. Now on this one, I think I went around it twice. But you could, if you, depending on the look you want, you could just wrap them around once or twice. Kind of liking this. I think it's kind of cute. Oh, I just lost my rock. That's okay. Just pop it right back in there. So I kind of like that. I think I'm liking that little face. So on this next part, you want to grab your cutters. And if you want to do the little eyebrows, you can just trim them out here. Make sure you don't cut the wires behind it. In fact, you can just kind of lift up on it a little bit. And then just kind of trim them where you'd want your little eyebrow to end. Gotta lift that one up too and then cut it in the same spot. That's too long. Too long. Do a little shorter here. That's better. And then if you grab your flat nose, you can critique them a little if you want the eyebrows to go down a little bit. Just micro movements. Kind of liking that little face. Looks curious. So I think I'm going to leave it like that. And we got the eyes done. We'll tie it off in the back there. Show a nice shot of the back. Yay! What is this? Oh, yes, this is where we tied up. So remove this little tie. Let it come through there. Oh yeah, from below the eyes. So remove this little tie. Come on. Alright. So grab your frame. We're going to make another final measurement here to see where we're sitting. And then grab your two little front legs. Just poke them through this frame. And make sure he fits in there. Let's see if I turn the light on what that looks like. Ooh. Looks like a little treasure. So I'm going to eventually put these two legs through the hole too. I'm just trying to get a little idea of how he fits in there. I think I like that. Alright, so what in the world is the next step? Oh, okay, I remember now. So if you want to add these little spots to the, let's see if I turn this off, you can see it better. If you want to add these little, these are the tiny 2mm beads. If you want to add those to your octopus, what you're going to do is you're going to grab your bobbin and that little bag, the little bag of beads. You're going to pre-put them on your bobbin so they're always there if you want to add one. So I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to add like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to add 15 of the little beads and I'll show you what I got. Okay, so I put 15 of the little beads on the bobbin, and they'll just stay down here when and if we want to use them. You just slide one up and incorporate it in your design. It's kind of a cool little idea. And they shouldn't fall off. I mean, I've never had one fall off. Once you're tied on there, they're going to be on there. So what we're going to do is we're going to start in the back. Start our tie in the back here on this back leg, or where you left off. I'm going to do it on the other side of this one. Just going to wrap it 3 times. And then we're going to continue our wrap, but you want to get you don't want these spread out like that. You want it to look like a little octopus. Like you're going to kind of bring these a little close together, but not too close. You're going to start off fat, you know, you start off fat and then you get thinner. So I think we got a good start here. Just kind of get them started where how fatness you want in each leg. So you got a good start there. So this is easier to do upside down, I think. So I'm going to hold it here and continue to do what we're doing. We're just going to wrap it around, snug it up. Because now that we got the legs shaped out, it'll create like this web between the legs, which kind of looks really cool. So we're just going to do one at a time again. And again, make sure that your loops on each one are on the inside of the octopus. So you're cruising along, each line on the outside is smooth. And you come up underneath and over. And I got quite a bit of wire on my bobbin because we're going to be doing the little tentacles now. So although we will do each leg separately, so even if you do run out, you can just tie back on. It's not too big of a deal. Just going to keep going around. I'm thinking maybe like three passes around. Get like a good little web going. Make sure they're all pushed up nice and tight. So, I mean, because like when his little legs come down in front of the stone, you don't want your web to cover the whole stone. So, you know, we only want to do just a little bit down. gonna keep going. I'm gonna do 2 passes around. I'll come back. Okay, I went a couple times around just to get the little spider web out just a little farther. And then you want to end on the side here, on either side of your, well, preferably on this side, so I can show you this one thing. If you want to add a little, a spot, a little bead to the web here, and I'm in between the legs, a nice little spot there. You're just going to take one of your little beads down here and separate it from the bunch. Let it slide down into here. And then you would just incorporate that little bead, just leave it on there, and then wrap your next leg like you normally would, nice and snug, and over the top. And then you got a little, what's going to be a spot later on the octopus. And you can push it down so it stays down low. Your next wrap will be right next to it, so it'll be kind of hidden a little bit. But if you want to skip that part, no problem. You're just going to keep wrapping. But I'm going to put one on the other side to match it, so I'm just going to keep going until I reach the other little arm on this side, on the opposite. So wrap this one. And if you don't have a bobbin, you just put one bead on at a time where and when you want it. So I'm on this side exact opposite, so I'm going to grab one of these little beads again. Let it slide down there. And then wrap the next one. So now I got one on either side, so it kind of matches. And I'm just going to go around again. Always keeping your little weaves as close to the octopus as you can. We just want to keep it as solid as possible. Always over the top, and from the top side of the octopus, always over the top of the wires. Okay, so I'm ended up back in the same spot here. So I think we're going to start making the legs, because we don't want to go too low on our stone. So I'm going to bring these legs forward. We're going to put all of these through the frame. It's going to be fun. So I'm just going to grab these two out here. Come over this one, grab these two. Well, shoot, I'll just go like this, go to the back. Sheesh. These little arms can fold up, so she'll be hanging onto the frame up top. And these ones too. So we're going to start shaping her around the frame here. So you're going to have to pull these ones up so she fits in that little frame there, like that. And then these two you can fold down to kind of grip, get a better position there. And the same in the front here. You're just going to push your legs down in the front. Make sure she fits in there nice. Make sure that stone is kind of where you want it though, to once you get it in there, because it's going to want to stay where you put it. I don't know if yours rotates, but if not, just make sure it's facing the way you want. She's going to sit at the bottom like that. Make sure your weaving wire is out the front here. So we're just kind of putting the legs where we want them, down in front here. It's a good start. I'm liking that. So you can take that off for a second. And then let's continue this weave till we get Let's see, what leg should we start on? Let's start on this one. Okay, so your little octopus legs are going to get smaller as they taper out. So right now they're, let's see, do I need a measuring tape? Let's just get a little, so it's starting about a 1/4 inch out here. Be a little tighter than that, but just so you kind of have an idea. And on these ones, you're going to go over the top once and then twice. Just going to grab that one, and then it's going to be a figure 8 over, it's going to be figure 8 back and forth. So you're going to go under that one and over, and then back under. So 2 wraps on each side, and then over the top. But it's going to be crisscross, so. And then if you want to add a bead to the arm here, you'd slide a bead down. And I think it's better to do the bead from this side. Because when the wire is pointing down to the other side, it points the little bead hole down. I think that's the way it looks better. Yeah, it stays lower. So then figure 8 back up to this side, and you can put a little bead in there if you want or not. Just around once, around twice. Scooch it up tight. Don't even let that bead be a problem. Just go over it or under it or whatever you gotta do. Because they'll pop up through the weave too. Like that. And just figure 8 once through the center. And remember too, you want to keep tapering these down, so they'll naturally pull closer together as you get down there farther. So I'm going to weave down to about here, and you could put a bead every, 1/4 inch if you want, or a little less than that if you want to. And then I'll meet you back here when we get to, I'm thinking like right here, just where it starts to go into the frame, because then we got to put it back in the frame. So I'll be back then. Okay, so I got a couple wraps on here, and I put 2 beads on. You can see that. Scooch them up there nice and close. And then we're gonna add some more on here, but I wanted to make sure that when you add your beads, that you don't need to go all the way around the back. You could add you can see where you are on the frame by just slipping your frame on. See kind of where your little spots are going to be, because you don't really need to add more. I think I might add 1 more and then continue out, and then we're just going to keep tapering down, and you want to get smaller as you go out. And I'm thinking, like, if you pinch this just like a 1/2 inch in, that's going to be about the leg there. But I'm going to keep weaving out, and I'm going to put 1 more bead on, and then weave out to about halfway down, because then we're going to wrap it around through the frame like this to make sure that we got a good length, and see how much room we have left off, because it might be just a little too long. I don't want your legs just wrapping around everywhere. So let's go out to about halfway, or I guess it'd be a third if you look at the whole length of the wire. So let's go out about a third way, and then slowly just keep tapering down to where it looks like you got about a point here towards about the last inch. And I'll meet you back here. And again, you're just doing figure eights, but then wrapping each bar once as well. Don't just do figure eights back and forth, you know. Go through. If you're in the back, yeah, go behind it. Wrap once. Go back through it. And then to the other side, do that. Around it once. Back again. Through the center. Figure eight underneath. So you're kind of going around it twice. And then back. And then slowly just get thinner and thinner as you go out. And they'll naturally pull together, but don't go too thin too fast. And just nice slow taper. That. The wires like to do that anyway, so kind of an easy weave. So I'll meet you back here, kind of in about the middle. I wanted to mention too, as you're going down and you're holding your stitches nice and close together, it's got a nice good little weave going. If you're weaving here and you're noticing that your wires are coming really close together, you can just, you know, just kind of coax them out just a little bit. You'll see that they'll keep wanting to come together. But if you're getting too, you know, just keep an eye on down here so you know that you're not going too fast. And then I just kind of hold them down with my fingernails. I wrap the next one. Nice and snug, close together as you can get it. And you see how it does, it wants to pull them together, but you just kind of just bring them out as you go a little bit. Just kind of keep correcting it. You can flare out your little ends if it helps you catch them better. But even if you know, because you get down here, it wants to keep pulling them close together, so you just keep micro-adjusting it as you go. Keep a little bit of fatness on that arm, you know, you don't want it too thin. Just working my way out here a little bit. No hard kinks or anything, don't bend them out too far. Just pushing them down. I'm not trying to pull them together, I'm just trying to keep them low and as close together as possible. So I'm going to keep going a little farther. I just wanted to mention that, you know, because you just want just a steady taper. Taper down. But we're getting there. So I'm going to keep going until, like I said, till about halfway. I just wanted to mention that because they'll come together quick. So you just got to keep, just correct them as you go down to get a nice length on there. And I'll be back. Okay, so I'm about halfway, I think, pretty close. And what we want to do is we want to just get an idea about, once we start wrapping this leg around, we want it to go around this bar and then come back out this side. And we want to be able to reach this weave. So what we're trying to do is put enough weave on there that we can push it through and then be able to at least start weaving from right here and then keep going. So I think I'm going to add just a few more weaves just to make sure that once I wrap it around the frame, that it's going to come back out and I'll be able to reach this. So I'm going to go just a little farther, probably another ½ inch or so. And then I'll be back. And remember, just like, because they do pull together, so just slide it down and then just, you know, just try to keep it so they're not right next to each other till you get like out to here. A little tricky, but it takes practice. Each wrap that you put down, just keep it down low and make sure that the spacing's where you want it. And then just push down. Don't pull them together. Although they do like to come together. So I'm going to keep going until I get out about another ½ inch and I'll be back. Okay, so I added enough on there. I feel pretty good about that length. And I'd say it's Yeah, it's about halfway. So to put this onto the frame, we're going to have to, we have to leave enough wire on here to wrap the rest of the little leg. And we want to leave our little beads. If you do have your beads on, of course, just let them slide down to where, I'm going to take I'm thinking 2 feet at least off of this bobbin. And if you run out, you can always add more. I don't like to run out. So I'm going to do at least, probably more than I need, 2 feet. And then when you go to cut your wire off, just leave your little beads on there, like that. And then precariously set them somewhere so that all the beads don't fall off. However you want to do that. I'm just going to set that out of the way. Okay, so then on here, just do those 2 in the back, slide that back up on there, so all 4 are in the front again. And then turn your rock, if your rock is rotating like mine. Make sure it's facing the way you want. And you can put her in the frame any way you want. She can be sitting up on the side or straight down in the middle. And you want to just kind of nestle down in there in the bottom. Push her down in there. And this leg's going to come down around the bottom. Stay right there. So then curve these. Curve these around. And come up underneath. It's very nice. Just keep your weave tucked up nice and tight too. Try not to pull on your weave. And then come up through the back. Keep your weave down low. Keep pushing it through. And you want to be on the back side of these. You don't want to be in front of those little tentacles. So you can just move those out of the way. Just keep pulling over the front there. And then your weaving wire's got to go too. There it is. So just pull that through. And then just keep my little stone keeps rotating straight to the back. And I just face the stone to make sure it was there. And you can, there's 2 wires that come down in the back. You can kind of hold those as leverage too, to kind of hold her down low in the stone. And even this one on the right side, you can, kind of push down on that too. Get her right where you want her to sit. I'm just forming these tentacles. I'm pushing them tight along the back of the frame here and through the front. And then push your weave back. Make sure it's nice and snug. Like that. So we're going to continue to weave out. We're going to make it go around the frame one more time. You can kind of bend these back just to kind of help hold the frame in just a little bit. It doesn't need to be perfect though. So I'm going to hold mine upside down. Seems to be a little easier. And then just make sure that your tentacles wrapped around nice and snug on that frame. Nice good grip on it. And scoot your stuff down. Now I'm going to put enough weave on there to go around that frame and come back through. And we're going to want to end right here, kind of in front, how this one is. So we're just going to go around the back. But I'm gonna weave out to I'm thinking it's going to take probably most of this wire. So I'm going to come out to about here and just keep weaving down to a point, and then I'm going to poke that through, but I'll do that on camera. But I'm going to weave down here first and then I'll be back. Alright, so I put some more weave on here, and what we're going to do is make sure your little tentacle's wrapped around this little arm nice and snug, and we're going to come up around the back again and through the center here. Pull it. Boy, these wires are stiffer. Make sure your weave is down low. Snug it up. Looks nice when it's a nice tight weave. Just going to pull it through here, but I do want to be behind these two arms. So just pull that through there. Turn it upside down so you can see it better. I did get just enough on there to... So we do have a little bit extra wire. So again, make sure that you're wrapping your tentacle around nice and snug. Don't pull your weave out of the nice. Again, I'll keep it down low. So we're in the front here, and this is where we're going to end the little tentacle, and we're going to put like a little curly Q on it. But you see, we're going to have to trim one wire. So pull your weaving wire through as well. Just going to move these apart for a second. Make sure I got the position I like here. And I'm going to kind of try to pre-shape where I want the little curl to go, because I'm going to cut one wire, so I think I'm going to cut the inside wire here. So kind of separate them a little bit. Grab your cutters. Push your weave back again nice and snug. And then kind of separate them a little bit. And you're just going to trim this one little wire here on the inside. It's almost kind of like right to the edge of the frame if you want like a little guesstimate there. So then with your weaving wire, get these, and you're going to bring these two close together, even overlap it a little bit so it kind of makes like a point. Just give it a little pinch there. I'm trying to create a point on that. And then with your weaving wire, you're going to go around both wires. You can lift up on it a little bit if you need to get under there. Just slide it down, push it down, and keep just doing that. Cover up that cut end. Just wrap it up as many times as you possibly can. Just keep going around it until it disappears. See how it's starting to disappear there? Just keep going. So you're at least, several wraps past it. And then you can take your flat nose. I'm just trying to transition a little better. I'm just trying to push it under itself a little bit so it looks more like a point. And then like this one, see how we got a little curly Q on there? Don't remove your weaving wire, because we're going to actually tie it to the frame so it doesn't come off. So we're just going to come around here to finish the little curl. And I'm thinking like that would be kind of cute. And then I'm going to trim it right here. So it's got a little curl on that little tentacle. And then we're going to wrap to the end of it. You can put more wraps on there first before you cut it if that's easier. You can move these out of the way. But another little trick here, I'm thinking, usually I want to sneak behind So you know how you can hide? So push your little tentacle right back to the coil. Push it down low, and this will help hold the wrap on too. So when you're right on the edge of your frame, that's a good spot to stop too. Bring this over to the coil, pick a good path for it, and pull that down into the coil in the back. And then we're going to come, let's see, we're going to go behind, between the frame and the coil. Just slip it through there, the frame and the coil. And then chase that where you pulled it through. Just slide it down back behind there. It's not always easy, but it is doable. Just pull it down into that coil. And then you come up right beside where you, am I on this side? Right beside that little stitch that you just put through there. I'm going to come up right beside that. I like grabbed onto something here. I must have pushed it down into the wrong. I'm just taking my fingernail and making it go in the groove I want. There it goes. Alright, so you're going to come out like right where your little stitch is, and then swoop, grab underneath that little hook that you just did, and it'll be locked to the frame, so that little leg won't lift, and then continue to wrap that little arm just down to the end as far as you can get it. Oops. It's not easy to do because it's so short. Just make a little longer. And you could put, now that it's tied to the frame, and you could do that twice if you wanted to really secure it. Wrap it through there twice and just go through the coils. I'm just putting a little curly Q. Eek! One thing about this colored wire is, you can chip it. I'm gonna see if I can get a couple more on there. Oh boy. I do like this tedious stuff, I really do. So I might go off camera and just wrap that down as far as I can get. See how far I went on this one? Just down to the little tip there. So I am going to go off camera and I'm going to continue to wrap that. And then once it's done wrapped, you just remove the tie. And again, if you want to double secure it, you could just, come back here, grab a coil, come through the frame and grab it right there again, so you don't even see, that wire. Oh, I didn't pull it tight enough, I guess. Oh, actually that was okay. Alright, so I'm going to come back after I wrap this little arm, and then we'll start on this one over here. Okay, so I finished wrapping that, and then I removed the tie, and that little arm is tied down to the frame, so it's not going anywhere. So we're going to do this arm now. Since we got a pretty idea on the length of this arm, because we cut off this much. If you have the little ends that you got cut off, you could just mimic this side, add your little beads if you added them, keep the same width separate, and as you go down, you'll come to a point, and you can see that, it's going to be identical the other side. So using your little cut off pieces, you're going to see about where you're going to end, And then just wrap to a little before that, so you can go around twice, make sure that you like where it's sitting. Don't cut anything off yet. But we're just going to do the same thing. And you're going to grab your bobbin with the precarious little beads still attached to it. Pull out enough here. Slide your beads down. And what you'll do is I'm going to start on the outside one, because there will be a little bit of a gap. So you don't necessarily want to do 3 wraps around this one. Maybe just 1 or 2, because it's a figure 8 and it's going to be jammed up in there. So I'm just going to wrap it like that and then start. because, you know, like the more you gap out on your spider web there, you'll see it later. So just keep it a little close, and then do the same thing, figure 8, but wrap each bar twice, you know. So you're gonna go around 1, and then come back down through the middle, and then back to the other side, figure 8. And then, you know, kind of like if you did the beads, then do them in the same kind of spacing. Make sure your legs start off the same way. They start off wider and then go smaller. So kind of little micro measurements there. Make sure they're nice and gradual taper. And then I'll meet you back when we get down to here. I'm not even gonna wrap it around the frame on these 2 bottom ones, because they fit different than these ones. These ones you kind of do have to shape them as you wrap them. So I'm just gonna go do a straight leg out like this, and then come back and wrap it around. And I'll see you back when this one's done. Okay, so I got the leg out to here, done. It's looking pretty good. I'm just making sure it's all nice and pushed back. Really cool when it's a tight weave there. And I forgot I gotta cut this. Slide your little beads down to your bobbin. I'm gonna take like 2 feet off here. 2 feet was a lot last time. I don't know if I need that much. I'll probably do a little less. Leaving my little beads on there. Set that out of the way. So again, we're just gonna make sure she's pushed down into the spot where you want her. And then grabbing it from out here, you know, pull down and start wrapping it around the back. Get like a little curvature going. It's so tempting to want to grab the weave, but you don't want to do that. And come up through the back. Should have pushed those points down a little better. There she is. And make sure you go behind these tentacles. Like that. Just kind of work it up through. You can kind of push it down here. Push it up. Boy, as soon as you grab that weave, you can feel it sliding through your fingers. So just from out here, just kind of grab and pull it through. It's nice and tight. And she's low. She's low in the loop there. Now she's not moving at all. That rock's not moving. She's pretty stout. Pull your weaving wire through. And I was hoping that I put enough on there to go around again. So I'm going to try to wrap it around again. Might be a little short, but I've dealt with that problem before. So, oh yeah, it'll reach. It'll reach. So back under this tentacle again. And sometimes you just got to weave it inside there. It's not easy, but it does. Pull your, does work. Pull this through again. Oh my goodness, we got like 2 legs going. Alright. So I'm just snugging it up on that frame. It's kind of cool how she's really hanging on now. Move these up out of the way. So again, we're gonna start forming our little loop-de-loop here. And let's see, I might actually, do I need to put, oh no, that's fine. I think she's far enough to start. Okay, so I'm going to cut this one again. Let's see, I cut it last time. I cut it like about here, just the inside one. And then I'm going to push these 2 together. Kind of this long one over the top of it a little bit. Just trying to start a shape here. So it kind of looks like a point. And I'm going to wrap both of them as snug and as tight as I can. So I get to the end. I'll just jump ahead till I get there. So just jumped ahead a little bit and wrapped past the point. Several wraps. And then I'm going to cut this just a little long just so I can start making a loop. So I can about right there. And I'm just going to grab the end, just trying to curve it around here. I'll definitely cut this again. I'm just trying to get an idea of where it's going to sit. And I want to grab, I think it's easier to grab it when it's a little longer too. So I'm pressing this against the frame. And then again I'm going to, excuse me, I want this right on the edge of the frame. Push it down. And I'm going to find a good path in the coil here. I'm going to push it into the coil. If it'll go in there, maybe next to the shiny one. I feel like I'm still too far here. I want to get a little closer. So I don't want that raised up off of there. So I'm just going to push it through that coil right there. Yeah, that went in there. It disappears in there. And then come around the back and then slip between the coil and the frame. Right about where. It'll go. Alright, there it is. Right out. Try to get it to follow the same coil. I know it's not easy, but if it disappears in the front, you probably won't see. I mean, I don't see it. Come out right where you went in at. And then back to wrapping your little tentacle here. And I'm going to wrap out till about like right around here, and I'll be back. Alright, I wrapped out to about there, and I'm going to curl it with this extra length, because last time I was kind of nicking it pretty good. So I'm just going to use that to get the shape I want. Bring it around a little bit. And then I'm going to cut it just right at the edge there. So now you got like two little tentacles on there. And again, that's tied to the frame, really nice. So that's a perfect little curly cute. And then just remove your little tie. And it's slipped in there real good. You can use your fingernails to push it out of the way if you see anything, but I don't really see anything on there. Alright, so that's two legs, and now she's really locked in there. So we're going to do these. We could start with this outside one, and you don't want just a straight arm coming out because it doesn't look natural. So you want to kind of push that wire down in there so it's got like a nice fun little octopus curve on it, You can kind of wind them around the way you want them, but you just don't want them straight. So I'm just I'm pushing it down and keeping that distance like you would an octopus arm. And this is going to be a little funner one to weave, but you got to kind of weave this one in place. So I'm thinking something like that, and then it'll come up over the top, so you get kind of a nice cool little bend in there, a little swoop, and then it kind of comes around out the top like that. So again, we're going to grab our weaving wire with the little beads on it. How many do we got left? 1, 2, 3, an odd number. Alright, so I could put 3 on each one. That should be good. I got extra. Man, I cut way too much weaving wire off of there, but I'll use it for something. Alright, so on this one, we're going to tie off back here. So I'm just going to grab this top wire like 2 times. Jeez, how long is too long of a tutorial? Because this one's going to be, whew. I mean, it's just so many details. Alright, so try to scooch that down as close as you can, and then we're going to do the same thing. You're going to weave till you get to here, and then incorporate the beads if you want to put them in there. And again, we're going to taper down, so make sure they don't get too close too fast. Start with the shape you like, the way she sits in there. Of course, we could always micro move it around, but if you get a straight edge, it's definitely harder to maneuver the weave to bend with the frame. You know, because these kind of are just straight, but we have a little curvature here. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to weave out to here, and I'll meet you back when I get to the edge of the frame here to show you what I got. Keep this a little shorter. Alright, see you back here soon. Okay, so I wove out to here. Get a nice tight weave on there. Kind of pushed it down, shaped a little bit, and threw some beads in there. And on this one, you're going to decide whether you want your little tentacle to come up above it or below it. I'm going to go above it. So since there's not a lot of room up here, I'm going to kind of bend it down a little bit so then it kind of wraps up and around. So we're going to have to go a little sideways with this. That's why it's kind of nice to wrap them as you go, so it does contour to it a little better. So I'm going to bend it around like that. And then I'm going to weave more till I got enough to go through to the other side. Just wanted to let you note that shape there, because you know you gotta make it look like she's reaching around and hanging on to it. So I'll come back after I've weaved enough on here to pull it through the frame, and I'll be back. Okay, so I wove out to almost towards the end there, and I got it wrapped around where I want it to be, and I'm going to go kind of low so I can come above it and circle around the back. I cut the weaving wire off again with, oof, oh, I know that's loud, sorry about that. I'm going to circle around the back here, come through the front, and just push your weave tight and try to pull on the bare wires instead of your weave. Get it to come around the front. Move it to the position you want. Pull your wire through. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put a little hook on here, and I'm going to attach it to this up bar instead of the around the back. So I'm just going to do it just like this one, just like we did down here. I'm just going to attach it to this little frame here, and then I'll come back after that. And then to save time, and you'll see too, like, because this had a little more wire on it than this, because we went around this one twice. This one we're going to just go behind it once and then attach it. So I wanted to show you this one. I mean, if you want to go through it again, I just don't think it's necessary, and it takes up a lot of room on your little hoop here. So I'm going to finish off the little hook and move, and then do the other side since it'll be identical. And then you can do a different pattern. You can, you know, make the tentacles go anywhere you want. I think I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab around the little center here. I think that's kind of cute. And then I'll meet you back after I have these two arms attached, just to save some time. And it's pretty repetitious. And then if you want to hang out and do the little tentacle wrap, we'll do that. But that's going to take a little extra work. But I'll be back. Oh, and then we still got to do the back tentacle too. So I'll come back after I have two arms on, and we're just going to finish them like we did these. And I'll meet you back when that's done. Okay, so I got both arms attached. It turned out pretty cute. Just wrapped it around the top one there and tied off on there, and tied the little arms down so they won't lift off of there. And then we still have to do the back arm here. And too, like if your eyes are a little loose, or you didn't like the way they fit down around the neck, you can flip it over, and I kind of tightened mine up by just twisting the little wires just a little bit, bringing them together, and detailing that just so it was a little snugger in the front. Snugger. And then, so on this back piece, you know, because I like to cover this up, and then I bring the tentacle around and cover this stuff up, and it kind of holds the rock in, and then I tie it down here as well. And this one we'll do together, because you kind of have to put a couple more weaves on the outside, because it takes a little more than the inside. So I'll show you how I do that, and then we'll just catch it up here, and do it just like the back here. But you want to position, after you tighten your wires up the way you like them, pinch your wires together. I'm just trying, I go off to the side here to cover up these little up wires. So you're going to grab your weaving wire, and attach it to this bottom one, or the top one, whichever one you like. There's a couple wraps on there. And I'm going to do the figure eights up here. On top of one side, just swoop under the other one, grab it twice. I'm not going to put any beads or anything under this one. But you're just going to weave out at an angle here, and then it's going to swoop around. So, I mean, you could shape your, I'm just trying to hold it. So you want it to look like that. Kind of come off to the side, and we want to keep, you know, where it's still getting smaller as it goes around. And this one's a little smaller because it's closer to the frame here. So we're just going to make the shape so it stays inside the frame. Get a good shape going. You can push it this way if you need to, so you can swoop up. So we'll just do half a circle to start, because if you do the whole thing, then you kind of got to chase your little wire around there. So you have to go under this one and then go back around, which is a little trickier, but and swoop under this one and grab this one. And you know, if this is a little too hard to do it this way, you can, you know, just leave your wires out straight and then slowly turn your wires as you go, which works good too. I've done this a few times, so it's not too bad. Just a matter of getting used to going at a weird angle there. And then you'll notice that when you get out here, you're going to need to add a couple more wraps. Like instead of just 2, you'll add 3 or 4, just so that you're always, you know, staying straight with your weave. So I'll do a couple, and then when I get down to here, I'll show you an example of what I mean. It's easier to show you than it is to explain it, I think. So I'll be back when I get to like right at this wide spot. Okay, so I'm a little farther out. So you notice how when you're making this tiny bend here, you're gonna have to, for it to be right at the point here, see how much more room there is in this spot than there is down here. So when you go to wrap that far outer bar, you're just going to put, you know, 4 wraps on there. So there's 2, 3, 4. I'm going to even do 5 because, you know, it's going to get away from me if I don't add the gap there. So then I'll wrap this bottom one. And then I'm going to go to wrap this outer one again. I'm going to do another 5. 1, 2, 3. So I'm doing 5 compared to the 2. And I'm still not gaining as much ground as I would like. I'm going to do a couple more. So then I go back to this one. Oops. Go under this one. And then back out to that outer one and do another 5. Maybe if the 5 to 1 will, you know, catch up. pushing it down with your fingernail. That's 3, 4, 5. It's catching up a little bit. And then back under this one. And then back out again to the outer line and put 5 wraps in that one. 2, 3. So keep doing that till you get kind of around the corner. And then you'll kind of just, depending on how tight you have yours bent, you'll have to do, 3 or 4 extra wraps. And then once you get down here, wait, because we're going to, once we're, just got the single wrap, we're going to wrap it around this coil just to pin this last little tentacle down right there. And that'll really hold in your rock as well too if it's a little loose. So we'll pin it there. So we'll keep going until we get down to here. So you're going to do 5 on the outside, 5 or 6 on the outside till you're ever one grab here. I guess you kind of wrap around it twice, but you know what I mean? Just triple to 1, triple to what you're doing over here. Just keep them pushed down and keep going. And you'll get a feel for how it should be, You'll need to make up the space. So I'll meet you back just to save some time, and we'll stop right down here at dead center bottom. Okay, I'm down here in the center at the bottom. And what I want to do is I want to follow along one of these little coils here. And I think I want to stay on this side. You've got the stitching right here in front. I think I want to stay on either side of that because I don't want to go through the middle there. I'm just going to kind of push it back here a little bit. I'm going to poke it through that frame right next to it, between the frame and the coil. And the fun part is trying to find it on the other side. Like how does that happen? What helps too is I'm going to straighten out I ran out of wire again on my bobbin, so I had to detach it anyway, so it was a perfect spot so I can see through there. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here in front, because I think I can catch the wire better up here in the front of the stone. And even though that's not where I want it to be, I'm going to catch it there and pull through. Find the line that I want it to travel. I kind of wanted it back here on this one. Pull it down in. Okay, well, that was a little aggressive. Wow, I broke it right there too. I don't think I've ever seen that happen. That's okay. I'm just going to wrap it back on there. These things happen. I'm just going to wrap it 3 times. And leave the tail on for a little bit, because if you pull on it again, it might just pull it right off of your wire there. Okay, so I'm going to try it again. Right through the front. Going the wrong way. Tying the little tentacles on. This is actually the easy part. Tying the tentacles on is really tedious. I just love it. But like if you ever listen to those I'm just listening to birds right now, but only because I'm talking and stuff. But if you got like a good podcast going or something you're not watching, it's fun to do these little projects. So now that we're in the front, I got it. Did I have it pulled out in there? I don't think I'm in the right one. I want it to be right there. I pulled it a little more gently, but I got it down in there. might be in the back though. It's just easier to grab it. So I'm going to see the daylight through there. I'm going to push it right back under the stone. I want to come out where I started wrapping this wire. Right back here. And so that little tie that you were holding on to, make sure that's out of the way. And then continue wrapping the bottom wire here just to lock it in. A couple wraps on there, since you need the space anyways. Let's see, and a couple little, obviously had another tie going here somewhere. I'm going to remove that one as well, just to start it. I'll come back and remove this one once I get a couple more on there. So then back, and then just continue to bring it around. And I'm just using this little tail to cover up any little excess wires. So this one's going to be a tight turn. So you can just keep your wires straight out so it's easier for you to get around them. And then slowly work your way around. We're going to come up and then come right behind his neck and cover up those wires that go to his eyes. Because I think it looks better covered up than it does with any wires exposed. So, and then we'll put a cute little detail on his tentacle up here. So I'm going to keep going. You kind of got the gist, you know, 5-to-1 ratio till you get up to where they're going to go parallel again. Then you'll probably go back just to regular stitching. But I got to add some more wire, and I'll meet you back when I'm like right about here. And you're slowly, again, you're going to start tapering once you get around this corner here. You can leave it fat if you want to cover up wires, but then once you get to the back of the shoulder here, you're going to start tapering down again. It kind of keeps tapering anyways. But okay, I'll meet you back when we get a little closer. Alright, so we are right up here now. Weaved it to there. And then, you know, you did tie it down here, but the rest is a little loose, so you can kind of, you know, move your little tail around so it covers up any little wires. Kind of position it over that and over the shoulder. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go down and then curl up and come up underneath this little arm and grab it and come through. But I'm going to weave out to here, and then since we made the circle and I got a lot of little extra wires, so I am going to weave out to right about there. Most of the wire on this one. And just to, it's okay if it gets thin right after the shoulder. It's okay if it's thin all the way out. You just keep wrapping it tight. Because we're going to poke it up through this little arm here. Pull it through. See on the back here. So we got a good point going. We're going to come up under that arm there. And if you wrapped it tight, it's okay. You can, I think you can still get it under there. Worst case scenario, you can just make a loop and tie it to your coil. But I'm going to slip it up under there, so we're going to need all that little extra wire. So I'll come back when I'm right here at the end, and then I'll show you how to do that. And we're not tying it down anywhere else, just down here at the bottom, and then it'll be tied to this loop. So I'll meet you back once I'm here. Okay, so I weaved it out to the end here, and I was just kind of shaping, and I'm shaping it kind of in a curve because I want it to go up and under this one. So you just want to kind of bend your wire around till it's shaped to approach this spot here. And mine's pretty tight as well, but if we go into the center there, we can get it through there. So we're just gonna kind of have to warp it out a little bit here. Maybe I could trim a little. I don't want to trim a lot though, because I need to put a little hook on the other side. So we're just gonna have to finagle it through there. I think I have to push it back this way so I can grab it from this side and pull it through. It's gonna make some gritty sounds, but it's okay. I'll grab this one. Kind of like that sound. Okay, so we got it in there. Ta-da! That's the bead right there. So how's that look from the front? Let's see what this one looks like. Oops. So we can push up on it a little bit, move it around where we want it. I like that. So we're just going to take this, and I kind of want it faced so the flat wires are in front a little bit. You know, like that. And then just kind of curve it around. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to force it to, and this weaving wire's got to come through too. I noticed that it's still tucked back there. So just pull that through. So I'm gonna curve it, and then I'm actually gonna cut it like right here, and then just tuck it up under there. I mean, if you want to put a little curly Q on it and tie it on all cute, you can do that too, which doesn't look bad. It's just that you don't see the back of the pendant that much, and you don't want any snags back here. So if it's tucked up under there, it's a nice clean finish to it. And then from the front, you get like a little extra leg. You see it kind of swooping around down there. Kind of cute. So I'm gonna just go ahead and cut it enough to jam it up under there. And I cut my weave off. That's okay. And if you want to make a little more room, you could gently put your flat nose in there to position it. I'm using my fingers because they're softer, but I'll probably, these ones like to pull the wire off. So I'm just trying to finagle it up in there a little bit. Ever so gently. I mean, it's going to be pinned under there real good. Thinking that looks pretty good. Whoa! Jeez. Whoa. There. That's what I wanted. Just pinned up under there. It's not going to come out. Did scrape my color off a little bit there. Not so much you can really tell. So we got that done on there. You can press your stuff around, smush it around a little bit. Alright, so I cut into this clip to let you guys know that I did put the tentacles on, and it didn't look as good as it does without it. And this one looks really cute with the little tentacles on there, but this one just looks cleaner without it. I feel like it just kind of goes better with the setting and everything, and the stone, the way you can see it through his body and everything. I think it looks really good just the way it is. So I'm not going to add the tentacles on this. So if you do want to do the tentacles, you just twist 2 wires together really tight, and then you pre-shape them into the leg here, and then just sew them on through the leg there, and then they just finish in the back. And the same with these ones up here, you just stick it into the armpit there, and it pretty much stays. Pre-shape it, stick it in the back, and then just sew it on if you want to. Some look really cute with it. I think this one looks better, cleaner without it. I think it's pretty sharp looking. So if you guys made it through this whole film, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Appreciate the likes and the subscribes. And if you do make these little creations, hopefully I see them out there. I'm on TikTok and Instagram. A few links I'll put in the description. And if you have any questions about the stones I used or anything, just ask. I'll send you links to where I got the stuff. But until next time, guys, have a beautiful evening.